We also have our dignitaries, Shri Jayesh Ranjan, Principal Secretary, INC Department, along with our other dignitaries present here. And we will be beginning this annual report launch event, Industries and Commerce 2021-2022. Namaskaram, good evening, yes, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings from Government of Telangana, Industries and Commerce Department. We welcome you to the official launch of the Annual Report 2021-2022. Yes, Industries and Commerce Department, indeed, Telangana is a global destination for investments. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we begin with the proceedings of the event today. I would like to invite our esteemed dignitaries to the dais. I request Mr. Sudhir Reddy, President, Telangana Industrial Federation, to kindly please step forward to the dais. And I request Vatsala Mishra and Venkateshekar to kindly please present an exquisite range of plant saplings to Mr. Sudhir Reddy. I request Mr. Padma Shri Ravi Kumar Nara, National President, DICCI, to please step forward. And I request, yes, Vatsala Mishra and Venkateshekar to do the honors. Thank you. I request Mr. Anil Agarwal, President-elect, FGCCI, to kindly please step forward. I request Mr. Murali Krishna Reddy, Chairman, FICCI, Telangana State Council, Chairman for MAC Group, to please step forward. I request Mr. Shekhar Reddy, Vice Chairman, CII, Telangana, to please step forward. I request Mr. E.V. Narasimha Reddy, Vice Chairman and Managing Director, TSIIC, to please step forward. Yes, I request all dignitaries to please take your seats on stage. I now request our Principal Secretary, Industries and Commerce Information Technology Government of Telangana, Shri Jayesh Ranjan, to kindly please present the welcome address.
Honorable Minister for Industries, Mr. KT Ramarao, Honorable Chairman TSIIC, Shri Balmallu Garu, Honorable Chairman TSIDC, Shri Lakshmi Narayana Garu, all the senior representatives from the industry associations, my colleagues, all the invited guests, a warm welcome to all of you for this very important annual tradition that we have been following diligently since 2015, which is to present a report on what have we done in the entire year, what have been our significant achievements, what were the targets to begin with, how have we measured up against those targets, what do we plan to do in the coming years. This is a tradition, as I said, which Honorable Minister has introduced in 2015 to make our activities more transparent and in some ways also elicit feedback from all the stakeholders on what further we need to do. The tradition has gone off very well in all these years. We have received some very useful feedback. In fact, I remember I am frequently asked to participate in national level seminars, conferences, etc., where people have commented about this fact. And we also place a copy of this report on our website, so people also see how from year to year we are making progress, which are the areas where we are really doing well, and so on and so forth. So happy that we are maintaining that tradition and all of us are present here on this very important day. Now that COVID is more or less behind us, I'm also very happy to note that our industry as a whole has bounced back very, very strongly. Actually, if you look back at the last 2 years, all of you will appreciate that while we took all the required precautions which had to be taken to ensure that the infection is contained, we also were very liberal. Particularly, I remember there was a cabinet meeting, Honorable Chief Minister was there, all our ministers were there, and when discussions on lockdown, what should be allowed, what should be restricted, what should be completely closed, all these discussions were happening. Our ministers and Honorable Chief Minister himself was very categorical that we should not disrupt the industries or interrupt their functioning anymore. All of you will recall that when the first lockdown was introduced in March 2020, it was a national decision, and of course we all had to bear the closure of the industry, except the essential industries, for some months. But when the next 2 waves happened, the second wave and the third wave, decisions were left to the state on deciding what kind of lockdown strategy is required. And as I said, we took a very balanced decision that while all precautions should be taken, there is no need to close down the industries. And I know for sure that in many other states, hardships continued because of the decision to close everything, unlike here in Telangana. So that has given a good kind of a backdrop to all the industries to revive very, very quickly. Most of the challenges that we faced during lockdown, like the breakdown of the supply chain systems, also problem of migrant workers, etc. I again am very happy to note that we have been able to overcome all of these problems very soon, very quickly, and everything, all the production, all the productivity is back to normal. And in certain sectors, we are doing even better than what it was in the pre-COVID scenario. So my congratulations to all the industry representatives, also to the senior leaders of the industry for cooperating with the government, for understanding our position and calibrating their approach accordingly. This year has been particularly successful for us. Many of you would be following our progress on a regular day-to-day basis also. But when we look up the whole year in a consolidated way, this has been amongst all the 8 years, this has been in particularly a very satisfying year. Data and more details will be shared in a few moments from now by Honorable Minister. But we have seen amazing amount of response from the investors community in Telangana. Our policies, our approach like the TSI pass, cell certification, good quality infrastructure, easy availability of manpower, government support, etc., etc. And we have received several new investments in this year. Another very heartening thing has been that lots of our existing investors have ramped up their production, they have added new lines, they have recruited more people. So growth has come both ways, by our existing investors and also by new investors. We always take immense pride in the fact that in terms of repeat investments, our performance is amongst the best in the country, and that tradition has been maintained this year also. We also, all our institutions under the industries department, there are multiple institutions, as many of us would know. Handloom and textiles department is a separate unit under our larger industries department. Similarly, we have the Industrial Health Clinic, RICH, the Research and Innovation Circle of Hyderabad, the Commissioner of Industries, Commissioner for Export Promotion, and Department of Sugar, and all the corporations like TSIIC, TSIDC, the TSTPC, the Leather Promotion Corporation, and so on and so forth. So and within our main industries department, we have the Invest Telangana wing, which again has separate directors looking after different verticals. I'm happy to share that all the components of the industries department have performed very well. Their performance, if you compare amongst the last 8 years, this has been a very productive and a very successful year, as I have been repeatedly mentioning, by all the wings. And we hope that this momentum will be built forward. And in the coming year also, the new financial year has already begun. In this year also, many of you would have seen, we have made a couple of international trips in this calendar year. We have been to the US a few months ago, and very recently to UK and Davos. Already the rich stream of investments have continued. I would like to personally convey my gratitude to Honorable Minister for his leadership of this department. As I said, I speak in lots of these national level seminars, conferences, participate in lots of national meetings, and everywhere people continue to praise us about the very strong sense of responsiveness that our government shows right from Honorable Minister. In fact, I don't know, some of you, if you read the Economic Times yesterday, there was a news item about international investments in the country, and they had mentioned that at least 500 CEOs of IT and industries and the builders community, they will all have Minister's personal mobile number with them. And if there is any requirement, Honorable Minister is just one text away, and he instantly responds to all their issues, all their requirements. So this is the reputation that we have built in the country. And while other states are also trying to match up, but we are miles ahead of everyone else when it comes to this proactiveness, responsiveness, in being accessible to every member of the industry, whether it is a large investor, whether it is our homegrown investor, whether it is an MSME. We have equal regard and concern for everyone's well-being. So once again, my congratulations to all the stakeholders for making 2021-22 a very productive and useful year for the industries department. And I continue to seek your cooperation and support in the future as well. Warm welcome to all of you once again for this important occasion. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for the remarks. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we move into a segment where we'll have our industry representatives share valuable inputs with all of us here today. We have with us a corporate leader with over 36 years of multifaceted experience in food, nutraceutical and pharma ingredients processing, international marketing, and value addition of agricultural products. As the CEO of Plant Lipids, he has overseen 500% business growth in 10 years, thereby establishing the company as a leading spice essential oils, oleoresins, nutraceutical products, and natural food color manufacturer exporter in world. He was instrumental in setting up an overseas manufacturing facility in Sri Lanka, an international holding company in UK, and is the managing director of its German subsidiary. In his earlier stint, he worked in different capacities at Nita Gelatin India Limited for 21 years and played a key role in establishing a leadership position in gelatin business in India and 25 other countries. He also provided leadership in the company's foray into the consumer market space. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Ranjit Ramachandran.
Honorable Minister Sri KTR Garu, other distinguished dignitaries on and off the dais, a very good morning to all of you. At the outset, let me thank Sri Jayesh Ranjan sir and Mr. Akhil Kumar for having given me an opportunity to address this August gathering. Our journey in Telangana started with in the year 2006 in the Kandukur village of Rangareddy district, where we started way back when our Kerala-based promoters decided to set up a chili extraction facility. When we were considering to substantially scale up our chili operations, I got the opportunity to meet the Honorable Minister KTR Garu in June 2018. Sir, you gave me and my company the confidence to set up the country's largest chili extraction plant in the state of Telangana. At the first meeting itself, he was good enough to introduce me to Jayesh sir, and it was an amazing experience thereafter, with timely interventions always to ensure that our project did not hit any roadblocks. Let me take this opportunity to take you through our wonderful experience in Telangana. We are one of the world's largest producers of spice extracts and oleoresins, and we process 550 metric tons of spices and other natural ingredients every day in our 12 manufacturing facilities spread across 3 states. We started off in Kerala, then we came to Telangana, and we also have an operation in the state of Karnataka, and we have a large manufacturing facility in Sri Lanka as well. Our business covers 5 verticals, namely spice extracts, flavors and seasonings, nutraceuticals, fragrance ingredients, and natural food colors, all from natural origin. We are today one of the world's leading players in all these segments, exporting to more than 85 countries. Besides our extraction plant, we have also set up a spice grinding plant in Kandukur village, and we have a solar power installation in Amanagal village close by. Chili being one of the key agri-products of Telangana, we have started farmer support programs starting from seed propagation to nurseries to farm-level projects, mostly in the districts of Khammam and Mahbubabad. Let me come to the new project which we set up in the district of Mahbubabad. Despite the pandemic, we could complete this project on schedule. The government facilitated the acquisition of land for the project in Mahbubabad district, and we could commission the plant in August 2020 with a total investment of 47 crores. In 2021, we completed the first phase of expansion of the plant with an additional investment of 15 crores, and we are planning the third phase of expansion very shortly. I would like to, the sense of self-satisfaction and pride is that besides setting up the manufacturing facility, we could do something to the society. We, in collaboration with the Society for Elimination of Rural Poverty, SERP, and Benishan, successfully completed a farmer-level direct purchase program during 21-22 chili season, a model of public-private partnership with the farmers of Telangana as the direct beneficiaries. In this program, we covered 70 villages spread across 6 mandals. We could procure 2,418 metric tons of chili with a value of 40 crores, giving a direct cumulative benefit of 1 crore to the farmers. I would like to end this presentation with a few pictures of the plant, the current state of our plant in Khammam, in Mahbubabad, and we are hoping to further expand on this. We are extremely happy and satisfied with the support given by the Telangana government in ensuring the successful commissioning of the new plant, and also for facilitating a unique farm-level procurement program under the aegis of the Society for Elimination of Rural Poverty. I once again thank the Honorable Chief Minister for his grand vision and the Honorable Minister KTR Garu for his kind intervention in making sure that we can be a small part in adding value to the chili farmers of Telangana and also make our presence felt in the global market for chili extracts. I would like to also thank Jayesh Ranjan sir, the Vice Chairman and Managing Director of TSI, DC, Narasimha Reddy sir, Mr. Akhil Kumar, and the entire team of TSISC and the Industries Department for making this happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing valuable inputs with all of us here today. And we move forward to our next industry representative, Mr. Mahesh Adappa. He is a logistics professional with 30+ years of experience in setting up and running container freight stations, inland container depots, and private freight terminals and rail logistics. The journey started with Concur way back in 1991 in Mumbai and has worked in different geographies all over India and is currently in Telangana. He heads the DP World Freight Terminal at Timapur. Over to you, Mr. Mahesh Adappa.
Thank you. Honorable Minister of Industries, KTR Garu, Principal Secretary, Shri Jayesh Ranjan Garu, distinguished officials on the dais and off the dais, respected trade representatives. Sir, I head the DP World facility at Timapur. The facility has the distinction of being the first private freight terminal on the Indian Railways. This was commissioned way back in 2011. DP World took over this facility in 2018, and post takeover and capital infusion of about 80 crores in the form of upgrading the civil infrastructure, handling equipments, and also inducing container trains. Today the facility handles 80 trains per month and serves customers across the geographies like JSW, JSPL, the Telangana State Civil Supplies, the Telangana State Markfed, the fertilizer companies, and also industries which have come up in the hinterland, close hinterland, like Procter & Gamble, Welspun, Pokarna, the paper mills and flour mills in Pargi and Shadnagar, the paper and biscuit manufacturers in Katedan, Renusys in Electronic City, and many more. The cargo movements within India, the customers use the Indian Railway wagons, and the EXIM piece is done by DP World by introducing 4 dedicated trains which move between the Jawaharlal Nehru Port and Hyderabad. We are very confident with the industrial growth that is taking place in the hinterland that we would introduce another 2 trains by December this year. So the new initiatives that we are working on is basically to build a network for Telangana to link the cargo clusters. For this, we are working very closely with Jayesh Ranjan Garu's team to study the requirements of the projects that are coming up at Warangal, that is the Kakatiya Mega Textile Park, and also the NIMS project at Zahirabad. And we're also working with already rail-linked facilities which were developed under the FCI PEG scheme to also do multi-products. Currently, they're only doing rice. So to also do multi-products which will create a proximity to the industry and lower the overall logistics costs for them. Pharma is the biggest industry in terms of cargo movements, and we have observed that almost 640 foots move every month by road to JNPT at a phenomenal cost. So we're trying to address this by deploying reefer trains from Timapur. We are working very closely with the shipping lines to make available the inventory at Hyderabad itself. Currently, the inventory is only available at the port towns. So we're trying to bring that inventory to Hyderabad and allow the pharma industries to reduce their overall turnaround time for exports. Currently, it is 10 days, so it would reduce down to almost about 4 to 5 days. And also the cost. The new port linkages, currently Hyderabad is only connected to the western port of JNPT. So we are working with stakeholders at Chennai, Krishnapatnam and Vizag to ensure that we have connectivity on the eastbound cargo also. So we have a lot of imports which are coming from China and Far East. They travel all the way to JNPT or Chennai and then move by road and also rail. So this is something that we feel will cut down on the overall transit and the costs for the imports which are coming from the eastern side, sir. We're also witnessing a spurt in growth in the catchment, immediate catchment. Welspun and Pokarna have started moving their cargoes, and they are contributing to almost 400 TEUs per month of the overall the cargo basket. And to ensure that they get a seamless connectivity to the port, we have introduced trains, and we are also re-looking at our own infrastructure and to see where we will fall short in serving these customers and ensuring a seamless movement. And on this, we are working on a discussion paper, which we will bring to Mr. Jayesh Ranjan and his team, and we will seek their support on the way forward, sir. I'm sure, sir, that today's annual report would list out achievements of the department in the last year, but as a stakeholder in the industry at the ground, I must congratulate the state under the leadership of the Honorable Minister and also Shri Jayesh Ranjan ji and his entire team for a visible growth momentum that we are witnessing, and we are committed to ensuring that this growth momentum is served with connectivity, sir. Here I would also like to specifically thank TSISE for its support in upgradation of our connectivity roads, sir. So this was a very old issue which we had. We had approached the TSISE. I'm sure it will not figure out in the annual report, so I'm specifically mentioning this, that this connectivity and support that has been received has today allowed us to increase and scale up our own network movements. And in turn, it will help the trade at large in scaling up the movements. I would also like to thank Jayesh Ranjan ji for opening up his good offices. I've only met him once in his office, but I have got the entire support, and I have traveled across Telangana to understand the cargo clusters, and also in trying to develop a plan which will help connect the cargo clusters to the ultimate consumption areas. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Mahesh Adappa. And we move forward to our next industry representative, Mr. Masood Hussaini, Vice President and Head, Aerostructures and Aero Engines Program Management Office, Tata Aerospace and Defense. In his role, he is responsible for leading the Aerostructures and Aero Engines operations at Tata Aerospace and Defense and supporting the success of its various joint ventures, including the JVs with Sikorsky and Lockheed Martin and Boeing, to the Program Management Office. Prior to his current role, Masood was a part of Chairman Mr. Ratan Tata's office, initially as his direct executive support and subsequently as project and investment manager for the new business ventures for the Tata Group. Over to you, Mr. Masood Hussaini.
So good morning, Honorable Shri KT Rao Garu, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, other dignitaries on and off the stage, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great privilege and honor to be here today. Let me just start off by sharing with you a little about our company, because I'm not sure how many of you are aware of what we do. So let me just say that, and how much we do in Hyderabad, how much more we will do in Hyderabad. So let me just start by saying that today, any aircraft that you fly in the world will have a part made in Hyderabad. And this was not the case when we started off many years back. And I think it's important for us to understand why we are doing what we are doing. As a nation, I think there are many, many things that we do very well at. However, we also have the dubious distinction of being one of the largest importers of defense equipment and aerospace equipment. And self-sufficiency is an area that we don't really do well about. So Mr. Tata originally had the vision of setting up a company that would primarily increase India's self-sufficiency in the area of aerospace and defense. So when we started off the company, we could not make any part of the aircraft or anything. Today, I'm pleased to say that the entire body of the aircraft we make in Hyderabad. Similarly, the engine, which is even more complex. When we started off, we were doing about 1% of the engine. Today, we build up to 40% of the engine in India. Now, these are numbers, but you have to understand the challenge behind each of them. People speak about automotive being complex, a lot of other things, industries being complex. We speak about zero defect, we talk about Six Sigma. Now, in aerospace, there is no margin for error. I think all of us travel in aircrafts, a lot of our family members travel in aircrafts. If you have an error, frankly, you're up in the air, there's not much you can do. So the tolerance for error is zero. When we started off, there was this entire mindset that people in India can't do quality. And they said that, listen, are you sure you will build aircrafts that fly people across the world in India? And we said, yes, we can do it. And we can do it here in Hyderabad. And I must say here that my first meeting with Mr. KTR was in 2014. And at that point in time, we were just about to come in for many projects. And I said, sir, we are at a point of inflection. And he said, what do you mean? So I said, sir, we have to decide what do we do. And I said, and Mr. Rao said, why do you want to look at any other place other than Hyderabad? And I said, we won't. And I must say, from then on, all our major investments have been in Hyderabad. Mr. Rao has been one of our biggest salesmen, actually. He, at various points in time, has highlighted that the American presidential helicopter is made by us. We'll try and do it differently, sir. But so the American presidential helicopter is made by us. I think it's a matter of great pride for us. Many other things. The Apache aircraft is fully built by us. Something that was inaugurated by Mr. Rao and Mr. Tata a few years back. Again, global single source. That was work that was being done in Korea that we moved here. We built the Pilatus full aircraft. The G Leap aircraft is what we do. All of this has also happened with a workforce whose average age is 25 years. Now, typically, if you see the aerospace industry, the average age of the employees there is about 45 to 50 years. And I think the reason we've been able to achieve that is because of the phenomenal talent pool that we have in the state of Telangana. We've never been short of talent. We have had people who are fresh from college who come to our training centers. And within a year, they're doing work which is at par or better than the best people in USA, Japan, Korea, China, wherever. So when people say that India can't do quality, we say we don't agree. But I must highlight here the contribution that Mr. K.T. Ramarao and Mr. Jayesh Ranjan have done for the growth of this industry. One of the biggest things was during the COVID, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan mentioned about it. We operate in a global supply chain. So if we stop supplies, the global supply chain stops. In a form, Boeing and Airbus can't deliver their aircrafts. So as Mr. Jayesh Ranjan mentioned, the first wave we didn't have much of an option. But in the second wave, we had not a single day stoppage. We didn't miss a single delivery. There was nothing that the government didn't do to make our job easier, and for that we will be ever grateful to you. It has ensured that more and more jobs have come into India. I must say, sir, I'm not sure you're aware, but we are probably one of the only suppliers in the world who did not miss a single delivery during the entire COVID, and that has been appreciated by all our customers, which has in turn meant that there is far greater business growth that is coming. The other thing, sir, is, as you know, for any industry, what matters is livability. At the end of the day, it's not just the physical infrastructure of the factory, but also the infrastructure of the city. And there, I think, in terms of quality of life, while Hyderabad has always topped all of the indices, It's a place that all of our expatriates, people who come from outside India, are very, very comfortable being. It's a safe city. The infrastructure is fantastic. It's growing more and more. More importantly, I think it's an initiative maybe even the government doesn't speak enough about, is Harita Aharam. I think the greening of the city that has happened over the last few years is amazing. And I think, as they say, the person who plants the tree will never see the outcome. And I think that is what will happen with the state of Telangana. We are truly delighted to be here in Telangana, and we strongly recommend it to anybody who comes here, that it's a great place to be. And I just want to end by once again thanking KTR Ramagaru and Mr. Jayesh Ranjan for all the support that they provided. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Masood Hussaini. And we move forward to our next industry representative, Mr. Mukesh Sablani. Yes, he is an accomplished executive with 20 years of domestic and international experience in business development, P&L management, multi-channel product distribution and marketing in startup and growth organizations. Result-oriented, decisive leader with proven success in new markets and strategic product positioning for large textiles and consumer goods businesses. Over to you, Mr. Mukesh.
Thank you, and good afternoon. Good afternoon to Honorable Minister K.T. Ramarao, Jayesh Ranjanji, Shri Balamalluji, Shri Narasimha Reddy ji. I still remember coming here in 2018, and this was right after we had invested quite a sum in Gujarat. And then a meeting happened between Shri K.T. Raoji and our chairman BKG, and it was decided we'll move from Gujarat to Telangana. And July 2018, we were here to look at the land. Narasimha Reddy ji and Jayesh Ranjan ji helped us through. In flat 2 months, we were allotted the land. Flat 9 months, we were able to construct a factory from a flat land to one of the Asia's largest flooring and carpet facility. It's a testimony to the state and the governance here with the policies like TTAP, policies like TSI Pass, 14-day approval windows. So we have been a big beneficiary of that, and I thank to the entire state ministry and the governance team here to be able to do what they've done in such a short period of time. I mean, Telangana is only a few years old as a state, and it's already doing wonders when we compare to other states in the country. We have been. It's a speed that we were surprised, and we were pleasantly surprised. While we were able to build a facility in 9 months on a land that had virtually no infrastructure, we were the first industry to come in that industrial park. 7 months, we got the electricity, dedicated line for electricity. 5 months, we got the dedicated water pipeline, and we didn't lose a single day when it comes to commencement of the production in the factory. So thanks for all the efforts, and we are more than confident we'll grow here, and we've done it. We've had additional 500 crores investments in advanced textiles, which also had a record-breaking commencement as a project, and is waiting for Shri K.T. Ramarao ji to come over and inaugurate the facility. This will be one of the most automated advanced textiles factory in the country, which will ship products not only in India but across the world. So thank you, sir. Thanks for the support that we have been given, and we feel very welcome not only by the ministry, by the machinery here, but very welcome by the people of Hyderabad and people of Telangana. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Mukesh Sablani. We have our next industry representative from Medtronic Engineering and Innovation Center, Vice President and Site Leader, Mr. Divya Prakash Joshi. I request you to please step forward. He is Commander Divya Prakash Joshi, veteran from the Indian Navy and he's the site leader and vice president at the Medtronic Engineering and Innovation Center, Hyderabad. He has over 30 plus years of experience in engineering, R&D, operations, quality, and reliability. He has been instrumental in setting up and expanding capabilities of the India Innovation Center since its inception in June of 2011. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, Honorable Minister Shri KT Rama Ji, Honorable Principal Secretary Shri Jayesh Ranjan Ji, distinguished guests on the dais, respected dignitaries from the State Department, my fellow industry reps, media personnel, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to be part of this August gathering and event, and thank you for the opportunity given to Medtronic to share my views here today. Research and development is critical to Medtronic's growth strategy. R&D is aligned with Medtronic's mission, focused on addressing universal healthcare needs, improving clinical outcomes, expanding global access to care, and optimizing costs and efficiencies across the healthcare continuum. Through these three core strategies: therapy innovation, globalization, and economic value. In August of 2020, Medtronic announced an investment of rupees 1,200 crores to expand our R&D facility in Hyderabad, the largest state-of-the-art engineering and innovation center of Medtronic outside of the United States of America, helping boost R&D efforts and create opportunities for the state and the country. The facility was commissioned in record speed and inaugurated by the Honorable Minister, Shri KT Rama Ji, and Medtronic's Global CEO, Jeff Martha, in April 2021. From our humble beginnings today as I speak, we are now a team of more than 700 plus engineers and growing, working towards accelerating R&D globalization, innovation in healthcare technology to create unsurpassed value for Medtronic, with the strategic intent to become the software technology center for medical devices, for software and engineering solutions, and supporting all businesses of Medtronic globally. Accordingly, we are enhancing our lab infrastructure and office space, and will be completing the same in few weeks. The team carries out critical operations on both new product development and sustenance engineering across high-end data engineering, mobile applications, product security, etc. MEIC, the Medtronic Engineering and Innovation Center as it is called, gives Medtronic an opportunity to tap talent in India and in the state of Telangana, and design in India for India and the world is the motto that we are working on. It is a true symbol of Medtronic's commitment to growth locally in India and globally. This wouldn't have been possible without the amazing support and collaboration during the whole expansion, planning and execution by the government of Telangana under the great leadership and guidance of Shri KT Rama Ji and his team of Shri Jayesh Ranjan Ji, Shri Shakti Nagappan, Shri Amarnath Reddy, and other office bearers. I don't want to, I'm not taking all the names, but everywhere we went, we got the support in terms of how do we grow and enhance our partnership in Hyderabad. I would also like to say that Medtronic devices, every second 2 patients are touched globally, and the talent in Hyderabad is really working on majority of these products, both in new product development and sustenance engineering, and that speaks that setting up the center, expanding in Hyderabad has been a great positive for the organization. With this, my best wishes to the team, and look forward to continuing our collaboration with the government of Telangana, and we'll look forward for your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we now move into the EV sector MOU exchange segment. As a part of its sustainable drive, UAE-based holding company Metaphor has decided to invest in smart green mobility initiatives in India by setting up its own EV company. Metaphor Bees made this investment through its sister company, Worldly Energy, and has acquired the full support of the government of Telangana to broaden its outreach. With this investment with the Telangana government, Metaphor aims to bring quality-driven EVs to the Indian market in line with Frame 2 approval set by the Indian government and move towards a strong economical drive-in term of electric mobility. The aligned vision of the Telangana government has paved the way to Worldly Energy aggressively push ahead with the vision of Make in India campaign and establish its identity as a purely Indian entity. In association with the Telangana government, Worldly Energy will set up its manufacturing plant for production of the e-vehicles. The manufacturing will also include batteries and charging stations, thus creating a complete 360 ecosystem towards sustainability. Metaphor also plans to integrate the EVs with its own telematics software that provides real-time data to users for easier commute. With all of the features and software developed in India, Metaphor endeavors to steer Telangana into EV stronghold and promote the Make in India initiative towards further sustainable goals. Yes, we have our dignitaries here on stage, our Honorable Minister, and I would request Mr. Shivankar, CEO of Worldly, to please step forward. I would also request Mr. Aditya Reddy, Sales and Marketing Head of Worldly, to please step forward. Yes, we already have Gopal Krishna, Director, Automotive and Electric Vehicles, Government of Telangana here. I request Mr. Junaid, Head of Business Development, to please step forward. Mr. Fahim, Director, Operations India, to please step forward. Yes, I would request Mr. Jayesh Ranjan to please step forward. Yes, we have the food processing sector up next. I request Mr. Akhil Gawar, Director, Food Processing, onto the stage for the MOU signing. Yes, I request Mr. Akhil Gawar, Director, Food Processing, to please step forward for the food processing sector MOU signing. I request Mr. Arjun Juneja, CEO, Mankind Consumer Healthcare Private Limited, Mr. Abhay Kumar Srivastava, President Operations, Mankind Consumer Healthcare Private Limited, to please step forward. Yes, Mankind Consumer Healthcare Private Limited is one of India's leading company in pharmaceuticals and consumer products. Mankind also has a flourishing pet care business for which Mankind has chosen Telangana to set up their manufacturing facility. Mankind will invest rupees 159 crores to establish a world-class pet food manufacturing plant. This plant will augment the agri-food ecosystem of the state as it will utilize agricultural cereals such as rice and maize. Further, it will also utilize meat and fish waste, lending support to the growing meat and fishery sector in the state. I now request Mr. Om Prakash Gunekar, Director, 3F Industries Limited, to please step forward. Yes, 3F Industries is one of the leading names in the food fat industry. They produce bakery fats, fats for frozen desserts, fatty acids, specialty fats, amongst a long list of products in this segment. Their products are used by a host of well-known food processing and personal care product industries. 3F Industries is also a leader in palm plantations in India. 3F Industries will be investing rupees 123 crores to establish a high-end unit for manufacturing export quality chocolates and bakery products near Hyderabad in the Banda Timmapur food processing industrial area. This project will further enhance the ecosystem in the state for the world-class bakery and confectionery industry. I would now request Mr. Rajendra Agarwal, Director, and Mr. Ankit Agarwal, President, Ravi Foods Private Limited, to please step forward. Ravi Foods Private Limited is one of India's leading company in manufacturing of bakery and confectionery items. Ravi Foods Private Limited is also having an overseas presence in more than 120 countries for 30 plus years. It has been a dominant player in the baked items and confectionery industry with products ranging from biscuits, cookies, wafers to chocolates, candies, confectionery. As a testament to the faith in Telangana growth story, Ravi Foods will be further augmenting their manufacturing presence in the state with a fresh investment of rupees 150 crores, 15 crores at Kothur near Hyderabad. Thank you so much, and I request our dignitaries to please be seated. Yes, we have our industry associations representatives who will be sharing their valuable inputs about their industry with us here today. So I request Mr. C. Shekhar Reddy to please step forward. He's a civil engineer with 3 decades of his journey in real estate and most of all in policy making for the sector at both state and national level. With having a vision of a better infrastructural environment for the country, has worked towards sector reforms, environmental and customer issues, and social responsibility initiatives to bring about a change and accomplish this vision of a better India. He's been instrumental in raising the reputation and strengthening the stature of builders fraternity in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and India. And he's been instrumental in the formation of Confederation of Real Estate Developers Association of India and has served as the founder, Vice President for 14 years before becoming the National President. So over to you, Mr. C. Shekhar Reddy.
Thank you, Madam. Sri KTR Garu, Honorable Minister for IT and Communications, Industries and Commerce and Municipal Administration, Government of Telangana, Sri Jayesh Ranjan Garu, IAS, Principal Secretary, Industries and Commerce, IT and Communications, Government of Telangana, Sri D. Krishna Bhaskar Garu, IAS, Commissioner, Department of Industries and Commerce, Government of Telangana, Sri E.V. Narasimha Reddy Garu, Vice Chairman and MD, TSIIC, and all the dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, and friends from media, good morning to you all. On behalf of the CIA, on my personal behalf, I sincerely thank Industry Department for this opportunity to be part of this event of celebrations, I can say. These are celebrations we are doing here of our performance, industry performance for the last year. It is heartening to see the department is releasing the annual report year on year. This evidently showcases the growth of the industries in Telangana and the confidence of the government in further building Bangaru Telangana. I take this opportunity to appreciate the government of Telangana for their proactive leadership, because of which industries had fared well and functioned well in the state during the COVID in comparison to several other states in India. The leadership in the state government is quite visionary and had driven one of the youngest states of the country to more progressive and dynamic states in the country. Under the dynamic leadership of Sri K. Chandrasekhar Rao Garu, the Honorable Minister, Chief Minister of Telangana, and Sri KTR Ramarao Garu, and able guidance and support from Sri Jayesh Ranjan ji, Telangana has emerged as a model state for the industry in the country and brought significant investments, providing a right ecosystem for industries to flourish. They both are always easily accessible and to address any issues pertaining to the industry. Therefore, our state is able to register tremendous growth in attracting new investments. Telangana is consistently ranked as one of the top states in India on the ease of doing business. We are all witnessing that the department is taking all the necessary steps to take Telangana the best investment destination in India and across the world. In the recent World Economic Forum held in Davos last month, Telangana once again emerged as the favorable investment destination for the global companies. Telangana is one of the first states to launch the startup policy and create a support ecosystem around it through T-Hub. Our startup growth story is inspirational for all, and therefore CAA has also set up its 10th Center of Excellence for Innovation, Entrepreneurship and Startup in Telangana on 11th July 2020 as another milestone in the 125th year of the CAA. CAA Surabji Godrej Great Building Center, which was established in the year 2001 as CAA's developmental institute on the green practices in businesses, has more than 7,558 green buildings projects coming up in a footprint of over 8 billion square foot are registered with the Indian Green Building Council. This is the second largest globally. And we feel proud to mention that two of our Center of Excellences of CAA among 10 Centers of Excellences are located in Hyderabad. CAA is committed to be partner in the growth story of Bangaru, Telangana, and we are willing to extend our full support in the process of achieving growth through competitiveness, entrepreneurship, sustainability and inclusiveness. And earlier speakers, I think the representative Tata, I said KTR has become our salesperson. Why only Tata? For all sectors, KTR has become the biggest force for marketing. No, it's a fact. Every day in and day out we can see the way he's pushing us. And all the other speakers also who have started their industries in a short span of time also appreciate the state government. And this is a celebration. I think it's a unique occasion, I can say. Nowhere in the country, no other state is coming out with such annual report and also calling the stakeholders and having this type of celebration is, I think, sir, it's a unique show, sir. It gives a lot of confidence among the entrepreneurs, and associations also feel they are part and parcel of the government. And since they're all doing, not say exceptionally, they're doing extremely well as ease of doing of business is concerned, policies are concerned, and exclusively we have seen on minute-to-minute basis, hourly basis during the COVID period, they've attended all our grievances. Whatever the grievances are there, that is the reason that nothing was stopped. Everything, the main essential items were producing on daily basis, and they have done everything possible for the growth of the state. So I request on behalf of my friends here, let us give a standing ovation to KTR Garu, Jayesh Ranjan Garu's team. Kindly stand up and give a standing ovation.
Yes, a standing ovation to our Honorable Minister, KTR Garu.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shekhar Reddy. Yes, moving forward, we have with us Chairman, FICCI Telangana, Mr. Murali Krishna Reddy Adala. Yes, he has over 30 years experience in construction industry, 25 years in property development and 30 years in the hospitality industry. He is the proud recipient of the coveted CNBC TV 18 Emerging India Award 2007 from the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh, for excellence in hospitality sector. Mr. Murali K. Reddy is presently the chairman of MAC Group of companies spanning real estate development, construction and hospitality sectors. The group company MAC Projects Private Limited has won TV5 Business Leader Award for Best Greenery and Landscaping for their world-class gated and guarded community project BTR. Over to you, Mr. Murali Krishna Reddy.
Thank you. Honorable Minister Sri KTR, Principal Secretary Sri Jayesh Ranjan, senior officers of the Industry Department, industry leaders, industry representatives, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a beautiful day. We're celebrating 1 year of achievement of our industry and the industry department. Nowhere else in this country you will see this kind of cooperation and coordination. As the chairman of FICCI, I know how responsive the industry secretary and the minister are to the needs of industry and the problems of the industry. As Sekhar has just now said, today is a celebration day. We'll put off criticism for another day. Today is to praise each one of us, particularly we need to, though. In a democracy, criticism is always there, and our Honorable Minister is so capable and competent to answer every criticism. And we are proud of you, sir. The vision and the pragmatism of our Honorable Chief Minister is the reason for the industrial and other growth of our state, including the per capita income. I would like to thank Sri KTR for making this state a star state. Telangana today is a star state, and both in the international arena and on the national stage. Sri KTR, our industry minister, is literally the ambassador of the state and built so much value for our state. He has aptly called this state startup state on the national TV, and the whole world caught up that word. A startup state is a state with vision, the dynamism, optimism, and willing to take the risks, willing to solve the problems, and look for the future with a lot of optimism. That's what he meant when he said startup state. And within a matter of 8 years, this startup's valuation has multiplied in front of our eyes. And for this, the vision of our Honorable Chief Minister and the leadership of our Minister, Sri KTR, are solely responsible. And of course, the industry department is led by able people, and they're all working assiduously to promote our state to be a star state and to fulfill the dream of all of us. What is great about this star state? Telangana is a state which gives primacy to inclusive growth. State, even before the present government came into power, I had the privilege and honor of interacting with our Chief Minister. He used to say, we have to take care of the common man while taking care of the industry and agriculture. That's important. If the small man is neglected and only industry is catered to, that is not inclusive growth. We have to praise our state, our leaders for this inclusive growth. Primacy for agriculture. There is no industry without agriculture. That is what is recognized by our Chief Minister and our Honorable Minister. Because no other state has this kind of primacy for agriculture. Water is given, electricity is given, and financial support is given, and farmers are encouraged by strong marketing. Then we have become a great investment destination in the last 8 years. Some of you, if you look at Hyderabad, the transformation that has taken place, and we have become so industry friendly, and in the words of Minister himself when he addressed Davos conference and also the national TV, that we have become a favorite destination for big international companies. Big international companies don't come by just our words. They respect our actions. Our minister and our secretary have done that. We are proud of them. And ease of doing business, we are on the top. Constantly, the department is interacting with the industry associations and eliminating one by one. It's not easy overnight to remove all the bureaucratic hurdles, but every effort is being made to make Telangana a great destination. And another important thing we are forgetting is the policing in this state. Policing brings economic growth. That is my strong belief. If there is no stability and policing, there won't be investments. And I thank the Chief Minister and our Minister for their vision, and also our Director General of Police and the other police leaders for creating that kind of stable law and order situation in this state, which is facilitating investment. We are one of the most peaceful states. There will be problems. Any human society will have problems. But how they are being solved is the issue. And technology in the police department is the vision of our Chief Minister. Though he is not a technology expert, he has seen all this through his pragmatism. And his right hand, our KTR, has been working. Though he is Minister for this, he is also contributing to all these things. And focus on infrastructure. Our Industry Minister, being Urban Development Minister, has been monitoring every infrastructure project. Because I'm in the construction industry, I know he makes calls to the contractors directly and follows up with them, persuades them, saying that you must complete in the interest of the state. If you have payment problems, I'll solve it. Which minister will do that? He is doing it. I praise him for that. Then one more thing is, there is optimism all round in Telangana. We are optimistic in the real estate. We are optimistic in the hospitality industry. We are optimistic in the pharma sector. We are optimistic in most of the sectors. And people are optimistic. That's a good sign. People are not depressed here. People are very forward-looking and willing to invest, willing to get a job, willing to live here. It is one of the cheapest cities in the world. And in this context, I would also like to say that it is I'm not saying everything is hunky-dory in our Hyderabad or Warangal or Karimnagar, but great efforts have been made. And Haritaharam greenery is doing wonders for our beauty of our city. There's a lot more to be done. It is all work in progress. We all know, being industrialists, nothing gets done overnight. We must also give that time to government and support the government in all the efforts of the government by just acknowledging and praising them and being with them, not all the time running down the government. Then some of the concerns, not criticism, sir, concerns are employment. Employment is very important. It is not just investment. Our youth, it's not just important to get jobs in the IT sector. Our unskilled workers, semi-skilled workers, they must get jobs. If they don't get jobs, there will be unrest in the society. And to do that, we from the industry, you from the government, have to come together and create employment-oriented organizations. Government alone cannot give the jobs. And those days when people were expecting government jobs are gone. Today, private sector has to give the jobs. Towards that end, we must encourage small and medium enterprises, sir. It is not just enough if we get 4 or 5 big international companies here. It is a pride, but at the same time, small and medium enterprises give more jobs. And they go through a lot of hardships. We need to recognize their hardships and at least make payments to them on time. Payments is their biggest problem. It needs to be looked at. And another concern is more and more people are from rural areas are moving into urban areas. It is inevitable. Nobody can stop it. We need to look at urban infrastructure in terms of sanitation, roads, water, health, all these things. SMEs to be nurtured continuously for creating employment. I would like to recommend to our Honorable Minister, will it be a good idea to have a committee wherein industry representatives and the government senior officers solely concentrate on employment and advise the government on the policies which can facilitate employment creation. In conclusion, I want to congratulate the industry department for the wonderful work they have been doing under the leadership of the Honorable Minister and the Honorable Secretary. And also I want to thank the Minister personally for his commitment, for his vision, and for his dynamism, and above all, for his persuasive articulation on the international forums and the national. Today, the whole, once it may not be out of context to say, when Telangana was formed, I used to hear, it will not be a viable state. It will perish. Why are they doing this? They are going towards the doom. No, this is one of the finest states today. Thanks to our Chief Minister, thanks to our Minister, thanks to our officers in the departments, various departments, not just one department. We are a star state. We are grateful to you, sir, for creating the star. And you are a star minister in the whole country. And you have even charmed the international scene by your articulation, by your commitment, and by your grip on the figures. You never just talked to the people off your hat. You quoted figures, and they're all there for all of us to see. And finally, I just want to make a request, sir. Though it is not my remit as the FICCI chairman, we are constantly endeavoring to build entrepreneurship. Our Flow organization, led by Shubhra, a lot of women entrepreneurs, they do wonderful work. In fact, they're the stronger arm of FICCI in Hyderabad. And in this context, I just want to make a request, though it's not my remit, that you are also the Urban Development Minister. Street entrepreneurs are the greatest entrepreneurs. They are inventory managers. They are the most persuasive sellers. They also handle police very effectively when they come to kick them out. And they borrow at 36%, but still repay by evening, not like big industrialists running away from the banks. And a lot of them are women. They are working hard. Evening they have to go and cook and feed the children. And throughout the day, some of us, thinking that we are great bargainers, ask them if they say 80 rupees, why don't you give me 70 rupees, 50 rupees like that, and trouble them. Still, they don't lose their patience. They're great entrepreneurs. Urban planning in the Indian context should be such that they are also given space while planning the roads. We are only talking about cars, traffic, 100 feet roads, 200 feet roads, fine, they're all good, they're all required. Can we also create some space for them away from the footpath? I have seen this in Bangalore in one of the streets. I'm not saying do it on the road number 1 or main street, side streets. Create small space for them so that they are not harassed by the police. Normally, of course, police is not harassing nowadays. They are cooperating with them. But still, it is in the interest of building entrepreneurship. What is the strength of India? India's greatest strength is entrepreneurship, sir. And that is what keeps us going. It is not government jobs, it is the entrepreneurs. These entrepreneurs must be encouraged. Microfinance must be arranged for them. Government must also look at these people, because when we look at that, we are going to work for the welfare of small families. And that is the vision of this government. I know that when I interact with you and interact with the Honorable Chief Minister, always you are concerned about the small man and small woman. So please do that, sir. And that is my request. That is my presentation to you. And you will be remembered forever if you can do in the new 69 GO, if you can ask the officers to create these spaces, the people will be very happy and they will be ever grateful to you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Murali Krishna. Ready, yes, indeed. Thank you for the starry remarks as well. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a matter of great pride that our MSEFCs for Rangareddy and Mechil districts were awarded by the Honorable National Ministers for MSME, being selected out of 126 similar MSEFCs across the country. So we are moving towards ensuring that our facilitation councils provide solutions in a robust fashion to MSMEs operating in Telangana. I would request all the GM DICs present here to please stand up, because we have to clap for you. It is all because of your hard work, your efforts, that Telangana is now a Bangaru Telangana. And indeed, yes, you have set the global destination for investments in Telangana. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. Our GMDICs, thank you. And with that, my dear friends, we proceed to the next speaker. Yes, we have with us Mr. Anil Agarwal, Vice President, President-elect, FTCCI, and he has served in managing committee for over a decade and played key role in several expert committees such as Energy Committee, International Trade Committee, etc. Yes, after doing his graduation in commerce from Osmania University, he joined his family business of iron and steel in 1988. He served as director for Messrs. Dhanalakshmi Iron Industries Private Limited, which is into manufacturing of TMT bars. Subsequently, he became managing director of Jivaka Industries Private Limited, that is into manufacturing of structural steels with forward and backward integration of steel. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Sri KT Ramaraoji, Honorable Minister, Industries. Sri Jayesh Ranjanji, Principal Secretary, Industries and Commerce. My counterparts of other industry associations, all the dignitaries on and off the dais. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to address the August gathering on the occasion of release of annual report of Industries and Commerce Department for the year 2021-22. Sir, we at Federation are extremely happy to note that Telangana state is consistently recording double-digit growth rate except for pandemic period, and has become one of the attractive destination for global investors. Your recent visits to US, UK and Davos were testimony to this, and we congratulate Honorable Minister, Principal Secretary and the whole team for making stupendous efforts and bringing huge investments into various sectors. While government is actively promoting investments into the state, we from Federation are doing our bit to promote trade by organizing various bilateral trade meets and engaging with consul generals of various countries. We are also imparting the skills required by conducting extreme courses to encourage entrepreneurs explore new avenues. Sir, when I'm asked to address here, I was curious to see district-wise domestic product contribution to GSDP. Gross district domestic product, the three districts, Hyderabad, Rangareddy, and Medchal, Malkajgiri are contributing about 48% of GSDP. And if I add 4 more districts, Nalgonda, Nizamabad, Sangareddy and Khammam, the total contribution is coming to around 60%. Sir, if you can tap the growth potential of remaining districts in the state, I am sure Telangana will progress at a much faster pace. We at Federation are also making efforts to align with district level chambers and conduct activities to understand the needs and facilities required and bring it to the notice of the government. I am happy to inform that we recently had interactions with Khammam and Nizamabad district chambers and organizing few entrepreneurship development programs and skill programs. Sir, as Federation of Chambers, we'd like to convene a meeting of all district chambers and request you, sir, to preside over the meeting. This will instill lot of confidence among the entrepreneurs. The government is with them and motivates them. Sir, before I conclude, I must share with you my recent experience with Consul General of Canada, Mr. Ben. We had an interactive meeting on 1st June at Federation, and after the meeting, he informed me that he had breakfast meeting with US Consul General Mr. Joel Reifman on that day. During the meeting, he informed his Canadian counterpart that US is betting heavily on Telangana, and if Canada don't act now, they will be missing the bus. That is the global image of our state, Telangana state, which has got skilled talent, robust infrastructure, ease of doing businesses, and highly efficient and responsible government administration led by our respected CM, Sri K. Chandrasekhar Rao ji. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for talking to us. Ladies and gentlemen, up next is Padma Shri Ravi Kumar Nara. He was bestowed with the 4th highest civilian award, Padma Shri, in the year 2014 by Government of India in recognition for his contribution to the growth of Indian industry. He is the first Dalit entrepreneur to be awarded Padma Shri from southern India. And he was born on September 1, 1963 to slum dweller parents in Hyderabad. And through his vast networking and leadership skills, Ravi in short time overtook his peers and subsequently formed Greater Hyderabad Builders Federation. He is director of Messrs. Apna Door Step Services Private Limited and Messrs. Smart Green Infra and Logistics Management India Private Limited. Also managing partner in Messrs. Aditya Communications. Mr. Ravi is spearheading his group of companies providing direct employment to 500 individuals. Making a way ahead, Mr. Ravi also took part of social activism, and Mr. Ravi is a member of the National Task Force on Affirmative Action Committee of Confederation of Indian Industry, and he is National President, DICCI, that is Dalit Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Mr. Ravi, in association with CII, organized vendor development meets, imparted skill enhancement and professional trainings to enhance professional competencies among the existing SC/STs entrepreneurs, and also conducted entrepreneurship development programs for aspiring entrepreneurs. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Respected Chief Guest of the occasion, Honorable Minister for Municipal Administration and IT, Sri KT Ramarao Garu, Sri Rajamallu Garu, Jayesh Ranjan Garu, Bhaskar Garu, Narasimha Reddy Garu, and my fellow association leaders, and my dear friends. I represent an organization called DICCI, that is Dalit Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We have established in the year 2005, and our founder chairman is Mr. Milind Kamble, hails from Pune. And we could able to spread across the country. Now we have a chapters throughout the country. Around 32 chapters we are running, and we have a member strength of 10,000. It's a great occasion for us to interact in this occasion of submitting the annual report. So, because of the efforts of Honorable Minister KT Ramarao ji, the image of the Telangana industrialist across the country and the world has increased. So he has built a very great brand for all our business people, for all our industrialists. Because being a national president, I keep moving across the country, and I will be meeting many people, many ministers and all. So whenever we say I am coming from Telangana, then they are very curious about knowing what is happening in Telangana. So how Mr. KTR is doing, how KCR is doing, like that lot of inquiries. They keep my problem aside, and they spend more time in knowing what is happening in Telangana. So that is the kind of the brand image created by the team led by Honorable Minister. Another thing, if we can see, before formation of Telangana, the SME sector was suffering with a lot of problems, especially in the power sector. So there are occasions where we have done dharnas in Indira Park with the entrepreneurs. So those days, if the power is there, there is a news. Now, now the power goes, it's a news. That is the difference this state has achieved so far. Because that is without power, no industry can survive. So that is the biggest achievement the government has done. And with that, the confidence levels. Because when we get the orders from various places, and if we are unable to supply on time, again our business will affect. So now the image is such for our state that yes, any entrepreneur who hails from Telangana can deliver the goods as per the schedule. So like that, the many things are there, and the work of the association also reduced because of your efforts. Earlier, as an association, for a small problems, we used to go to minister, secretary many times. But now our time is not being wasted in convincing the ministry and the secretariat, because thanks to Secretary Jayesh Ranjan ji also, because we have lots, if we have 100 issues, out of that most of the 90 issues have been solved without any this thing. So such a friendly, industry friendly association we are running. And also another important issue is, Honorable Minister, we see, I don't know what is the quality you have, the God gift, sir. We see you in such a great professional handling of the industrialist. When you go to abroad, because many my friends in abroad also tell the initiative and the impression what you have created. At the same time, if you see you as in a politics, and you are in a different role. So very difficult for an individual to play these two roles so perfectly, so professionally. That is the greatest thing what we have seen, sir. Actually, so we are very proud of you, sir. Not that you are present here and we want to please you, but it is a fact that we have to accept that every one of us will accept here those ones. Another thing, can you imagine a fish, a trout fish which is produced in the Kashmir or any cold places being produced in Telangana now? This is a news for the world, sir. Because trout fish, the rainbow trout fish is being farmed in Telangana. It is because of the initiatives and the policy which the Telangana government has. Because in many places, when we wanted to start that industry and we were interacting, because the power is the main issue for that. Suppose if the power is not there, and if the power is 24/7, the power will be used, and the production cost will increase. But thanks to the government of Telangana, which has given a special concession for fish farmers on par with the regular, not on par with the regular tariff, that a concessional tariff at 5 rupees 25 per unit was given, through which the project has become the viable, and now we are in the world map. Telangana is in the world map of producing the rainbow trout fishes in the world. And also I am proud to inform you, sir, because of your initiatives, Telangana is going to supply fingerlings of trout fish to the Asian countries. From here it is going to be supplied from here. So that is the change, that is all happening because of the good policy support system what we have, and the good administrative system we have. So for these reasons we are able to survive, and we are able to grow, not only individually, as a collectively, and the brand image of the Telangana is improving, and it has got multiple indirect impacts of creation of the employment, contribution to the GDP, so many things. So I am sure, sir, for another 3-4 years, the Telangana nobody can beat in any sphere. That is the standards you have, that is the foundation you have led, and I congratulate the officers for taking forward your vision and producing the results. And as far as SC entrepreneurs are concerned, the policy which has been given in Telangana, that is the tea pride, is the role model policy for the entire country, because nowhere, as one of the speaker told, that is the financial inclusion. So when the population of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe community contribute to 25% of the population, and to develop them as an entrepreneurs, the government of Telangana has initiated tea price policy in 2015, which has given a very good results. We could able to produce more than 400 manufacturing units in our state. But for that policy, it was not possible because through that policy, we are able to get the priority in allotment of the lands, concessional rate, power tariff concessions, investment subsidy. So many other benefits are there in the tea price scheme. Not only that, Telangana is the only state in the country who has provided the reservations in the contracts in all the departments of government of Telangana, all engineering departments. No state has got this policy. So that is the initiative taken by the government to implement the financial inclusion in the country. So this is the affirmative, in otherwise it is called as affirmative action. In US, such system is there, and after US and that affirmative action is being implemented in the state of Telangana. I am sure, sir, with your support, with your initiatives, we are going to create a lot many scheduled caste and scheduled tribe entrepreneurs in the country, and which they are going to have a very big innovative industries going to set up in near future. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir, for talking to all of us here. I would now request Mr. Kondaviti Sudhir Reddy, President, Telangana Industrialists Federation. Yes, please step forward. He is a BTech graduate in Civil Engineering from JNTU Engineering College, Hyderabad. Mr. Sudhir Reddy was instrumental in mobilizing the support of MSMEs for the separate statehood movement by establishing TIF. After the formation of the state, TIF, under the guidance of Mr. Sudhir Reddy, has been actively associating with the government to resolve challenges, issues faced by MSME, industrialists and employees. Over to you, sir.
ఈరోజు తెలంగాణ పారిశ్రామిక ప్రగతి నివేదికను సమర్పించడానికి ఏర్పాటు చేసినటువంటి ఈ మీటింగ్కు ముఖ్య అతిథిగా విచ్చేసినటువంటి శ్రీ కేటీ రామారావు గారు, ఆనరబుల్ మినిస్టర్ ఫర్ ఇండస్ట్రీస్ అండ్ ఐటీ, అట్లాగే మా చైర్మన్ గారు శ్రీ గ్యాదరి బాలమల్లు గారు, చైర్మన్ టీఎస్ఐఏసి, అమరవాది లక్ష్మీనారాయణ గారు, టీఎస్ఐడిసి చైర్మన్, మరియు ప్రిన్సిపల్ సెక్రటరీ ఇండస్ట్రీస్ జయేష్ రంజన్ గారు, అట్లాగే శేఖర్ రెడ్డి గారు, ఇండస్ట్రీస్ అసోసియేషన్ నుంచి వచ్చినటువంటి ముఖ్య నాయకులు శేఖర్ రెడ్డి గారు, మురళీ కృష్ణారెడ్డి గారు, అనిల్ గారు, అట్లాగే డిక్కీ రవికుమార్ గారు, మరియు టిఎస్ఐసి ఎండి అండ్ వైస్ చైర్మన్ శ్రీ వెంకట నరసింహారెడ్డి గారు, మరియు వేదిక నుంచి కింద ఉన్నటువంటి మా పారిశ్రామికవేత్తలు, కో ఇండస్ట్రియల్ అసోసియేషన్స్ యొక్క నాయకులు, వివిధ ప్రాంతాల నుంచి వచ్చినటువంటి పారిశ్రామికవేత్తలందరికీ కూడా అభినందనలు తెలియజేస్తున్నాను. ఈ సందర్భంగా ముఖ్యంగా ఈరోజు ఈ ఆనవాయితీని మొదట స్టార్ట్ చేసినప్పుడు అందరూ కూడా అర్థం కాలేదు. బట్ గత 4 సంవత్సరాల నుంచి కంటిన్యూస్గా ఈ ప్రగతి నివేదిక, పారిశ్రామిక ప్రగతి నివేదికలకు సంబంధించినటువంటి సబ్మిట్ చేసినప్పుడు మనందరికీ అర్థమవుతుంది. లాస్ట్ టైము అంతకుముందు కూడా మనం చూసినాం. ప్రతి పారిశ్రామిక నివేదికలో, అభివృద్ధి నివేదికలో అప్పటి వరకు జరిగినటువంటి అభివృద్ధిని, అప్పటి వరకు చేసినటువంటి అచీవ్మెంట్స్ అన్నింటిని కూడా వారు మంత్రి గారు ఒక ఆనవాయితీగా మన పారిశ్రామికవేత్తల ముందట, ప్రజానిక ముందర పెట్టడానికి ప్రయత్నం చేస్తున్నది తప్పకుండా ఇది అందరికీ అభినందనీయమైన విషయము. దీంతో పాటు ఈరోజు తెలంగాణలో రాష్ట్రం ఏర్పడినప్పుడు ముఖ్యంగా ఎంఎస్ఎంఈ పరిశ్రమలు, ముఖ్యంగా నేను ఎంఎస్ఎంఈ సెక్టర్ను రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తున్నటువంటి వ్యక్తిని. తెలంగాణ ఇండస్ట్రీస్ ఫెడరేషన్ యొక్క పుట్టుకనే తెలంగాణ ఉద్యమంతో స్టార్ట్ అయింది. తర్వాత పరిశ్రమలు, రాష్ట్రంలో పరిశ్రమల యొక్క అభివృద్ధికి తోడ్పడటానికి మేము గవర్నమెంట్తో అసోసియేట్ అయ్యి అనేక కార్యక్రమాలు చేసడం జరుగుతుంది. ముఖ్యంగా ఈరోజు తెలంగాణ 2014 కంటే ముందు మనందరికీ తెలుసు, ఇక్కడ కూర్చున్నటువంటి దాదాపుగా అనేక మంది పారిశ్రామికవేత్తలు కూడా 2014 కంటే ముందు పరిశ్రమలు నడపడానికి వీలుగాక వాళ్ళందరూ కూడా ఇందిరా పార్క్ దగ్గర పెద్ద ఎత్తున నిరసన ర్యాలీసు, ధర్నాలు చేసినటువంటి పరిస్థితి మనందరికీ తెలుసు. ఆ రోజున కరెంటు లేక అనేక పరిశ్రమలు మూతబడినటువంటి పరిస్థితి మనకు తెలుసు. అట్లాగే మరి తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్రం ఏర్పడే ముందు కూడా దీని మీద అనేకమైనటువంటి అపోహలు, అనుమానాలు కూడా ఉండే. రాష్ట్ర బైఫర్కేషన్ సమయంలో కూడా తెలంగాణకు పవర్ సెక్టర్లో కొంత అన్యాయం జరిగిన మాట మనకు తెలుసు. ఇవన్నీ ఆపరేషన్స్ మైండ్లో ఉన్నప్పుడు తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్రం ఏర్పడిన తర్వాత పారిశ్రామికవేత్తలందరూ కూడా ఇక్కడ పరిశ్రమలు నడపాలా, వేరే రాష్ట్రాలకు తరలిపోవాలా, లేకపోతే వేరే ప్రాంతాల్లో పరిశ్రమలు స్థాపించుకోవాలా. మరి ఇప్పటికే వారానికి 3 రోజుల విద్యుత్ కోత, 3 రోజులే కాకుండా డైలీ ఉదయం 4 గంటలు, సాయంత్రం 4 గంటలు, దాదాపుగా 60% టైము విద్యుత్ కోతలతోని సతమతమవుతున్నట్టు పరిశ్రమలు ఆ రోజున మనకు ఉండే. మరి తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్రం ఏర్పడ్డ తర్వాత అందరి అపోహలను పటాపంచలు చేసుకుంటూ మన ప్రీతమ నాయకుడు ముఖ్యమంత్రి గారు మొదట అడ్రస్ చేసినటువంటి సమస్య ఈ విద్యుత్ సమస్య. పరిశ్రమలు తరలిపోకుండా ఉండాలంటే, ఈ రాష్ట్రము అభివృద్ధి సాధించాలంటే అన్నిటికంటే ముఖ్యమైనది విద్యుత్ కోతని, విద్యుత్ సరఫరా చేయడం అనేది వారు గ్రహించి వెంటనే 6 నెలల లోపునే ఈ విద్యుత్ కోతను వారు పక్కకు పెట్టి మరి నిరంతరాయ విద్యుత్తు, క్వాలిటీ విద్యుత్తు ఈ రాష్ట్రంలో ఉన్న అన్ని పరిశ్రమలకు అందజేస్తున్నటువంటి ఘనత తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్ర ప్రభుత్వాన్ని. దీనికి మనమందరం కూడా అభినందనలు తెలవాల్సిన అవసరం ఉన్నది. మరి తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్రం ఏర్పడ్డ తర్వాత ఒక సెక్టర్ అని కాదు, అన్ని సెక్టర్లలో కూడా దూసుకుపోతుంది. ఈరోజు దేశవ్యాప్తంగా ఉన్న ప్రతి రాష్ట్రం కూడా తెలంగాణ వైపు చూస్తున్న విషయం మనకు తెలుసు. అన్ని అభివృద్ధి సూచికలు, డెవలప్మెంట్ ఇండెక్సెస్ అన్ని కూడా తెలంగాణ ముందుకు పోతున్న విషయం మనకు కనబడుతుంది. వీటన్నిటికంటే ముఖ్యంగా ఈరోజు అనేక మంది ప్రముఖ పారిశ్రామికవేత్తలు ఇక్కడ మనం మాట్లాడటం చూసినాం. వారు మాట్లాడినవన్నీ చూస్తే మన రాష్ట్రంకు అవన్నీ టెస్టిమోనియల్స్గా మన కేటీఆర్ గారి యొక్క విజన్కు, కేసీఆర్ గారి యొక్క విజన్కు ఆనవాయితీ కనపడతాయి మనకు అన్నీ కూడా రిఫ్లెక్షన్స్. మరి ఈరోజు వారందరూ పారిశ్రామికవేత్తలు ఇక్కడ పరిశ్రమలు స్థాపించినటువంటి వ్యక్తులు, వేరే రాష్ట్రాల నుంచి ఇతర ప్రాంతాల నుంచి వచ్చి పరిశ్రమలు స్థాపించినటువంటి ఈ పెద్ద పారిశ్రామికవేత్తలందరూ కూడా ఈరోజు మన బ్రాండ్ అంబాసిడర్స్గా అనేక ప్రాంతాల్లో మన కోసం వారు చెబుతున్నట్టు మాటల వల్ల అనేక మంది పరిశ్రమలు ఇక్కడికి రావడానికి ప్రయత్నం చేస్తున్నారు. నిన్నగాక మన దావోస్ పోయారు మన మినిస్టర్ గారు. అదే కాకుండా ఈ రాష్ట్రంలో ఉన్నటువంటి అనేక మంది పారిశ్రామికవేత్తలు ఇప్పటికే మనం ఈరోజు ఎంఓయూస్ చేసుకున్నాం. సో ఈ బ్రాండ్ అంబాసిడర్స్ అందరూ కూడా వారు ఇచ్చినటువంటి టెస్టిమోనియల్స్, వాళ్ళ యొక్క పొగడ్తలు, వాళ్ళ యొక్క ఫీడ్బ్యాక్ మనందరికీ కూడా ఈరోజు ఇక్కడ వినిపించారు. ఇదే కాకుండా మరి యాజ్ ఏ ఎంఎస్ఎంఈ సెక్టర్గా మనందరం ఇక్కడ ఉన్న వాళ్ళందరం కూడా చాలామంది మరి ఒక పెద్ద పరిశ్రమలు స్థాపించటనే మనకు అభివృద్ధి కనపడదు. ఎందుకంటే ఈరోజు ఎంఎస్ఎంఈ రంగము దేశంలో అత్యధిక ఉపాధి కల్పిస్తున్నటువంటి రంగం. తక్కువ పెట్టుబడితో ఎక్కువ మందికి ఉపాధి కల్పించే రంగము చిన్న పరిశ్రమలు. మరి చిన్న పరిశ్రమలు లేకుండా పెద్ద పరిశ్రమలు మనుగడ సాధించలేవు, పెద్ద పరిశ్రమలు లేకుండా చిన్న పరిశ్రమలు ఈ రాష్ట్రంలో మనుగడ సాధించలేవు. ఈ ఇంటర్ డిపెండెన్సీ అని ఉన్నది కాబట్టే ఒకవైపు మన మంత్రి గారు పెద్ద పరిశ్రమలు ఈ రాష్ట్రానికి తీసుకురావడంలో, విదేశీ ఇన్వెస్టర్ను ఈ రాష్ట్రానికి తీసుకురావడంలో, అట్లాగే ఇక్కడ ఉన్నటువంటి మైక్రో అండ్ స్మాల్ పరిశ్రమలను ముందుకు తీసుకెళ్లడానికి అనేక ప్రణాళికలు వారు తీసుకురావడం జరిగింది. అందులో ముఖ్యంగా మైక్రో అండ్ స్మాల్ ఇండస్ట్రీస్ బాలనగర్ ఏరియాలో కావచ్చు, ఈసీఐలో ఉన్నటువంటి అనేక పరిశ్రమలు కావచ్చు, పటాన్ చెరువులో ఉన్నటువంటి పరిశ్రమలు, వీటన్నిటి కోసం అనేక మైక్రో పారిశ్రామిక వాడలను ఏర్పాటు చేసి అక్కడ ఉన్నటువంటి అనేక మంది మైక్రో యూనిట్స్కు సొంతంగా స్థలాలు ఏర్పాటు చేసి పారిశ్రామిక వాడలు అభివృద్ధి చేయడం అనేది ఈ రాష్ట్రం వచ్చిన తర్వాత మాత్రమే సాధ్యమైంది. అంతకుముందు ఎక్కడ కూడా చిన్న పరిశ్రమలకు, మైక్రో పరిశ్రమలకు ఎక్స్క్లూజివ్ పారిశ్రామిక వాడలు ఎక్కడ స్థాపించబడలే ఈ రాష్ట్రంలో. తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్రం వచ్చిన వెంటనే మరి ఇప్పటికే గీతానగర్, నవజీవన్ నగర్, రాయరావుపేట్, అట్లాగే బాలనగర్, చిట్కుల్, రావెల్కోల్ ఇవన్నీ కూడా మైక్రో ఇండస్ట్రీస్ కోసం ఏర్పాటు చేసినటువంటి పారిశ్రామిక వాళ్ళు. కొన్ని వేల మంది చిన్న పారిశ్రామికవేత్తలకు అందులో అకామిడేషన్ ఇవ్వడం జరిగింది. వీటితో పాటే తెలంగాణ పారిశ్రామికవేత్తల సమాఖ్య కూడా తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్రం ఏర్పడ్డ తర్వాత అంతకుముందు ఎక్స్పాన్షన్, ఇండస్ట్రీస్లో ఎక్స్పాన్షన్ చేసుకోకుండా, డైవర్సిఫికేషన్ కాకుండా విద్యుత్ కోతతో సతమతమవుతున్న టైంలో తెలంగాణ ప్రభుత్వానికి తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్రం వచ్చిన వెంటనే అప్పీల్ పెట్టుకున్నప్పుడు దాదాపుగా 350 ఎకరాల ల్యాండు ఆ రోజున తెలంగాణ పారిశ్రామికవేత్తల తరఫున వాళ్ళ మెంబర్స్ ఎంఎస్ఎంఈ యూనిట్స్కి ఇవ్వడం జరిగింది. ఈరోజు ఆ 350 ఎకరాల పార్కు 2000 ఎకరాల పార్క్గా 2000 ఏకర్స్ ఎంఎస్ఎంఈ ఎక్స్క్లూజివ్ ఇండస్ట్రియల్ పార్క్ ఈరోజు నియర్ రామోజీ ఫిలిప్ సిటీ ఈ రాష్ట్ర ప్రభుత్వం ఏర్పాటు చేయడానికి ముందుకు వచ్చింది. దాంట్లో దాదాపుగా 2500 కోట్ల రూపాయల పెట్టుబడి, 2500 crores ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్, 30,000 డైరెక్ట్ ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్, అనదర్ 15,000 to 20,000 ఇండైరెక్ట్ ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ ఆ పార్క్ ద్వారా ఈ రాష్ట్రంలో ఉన్నటువంటి మునుగోడు కాన్స్టిట్యున్సీలో ఏర్పాటు చేయడానికి అవకాశాలు ఉన్నాయి. మరి ఇంత పెద్ద పార్కు ఇది సౌత్ ఇండియాలోనే ది లార్జెస్ట్ ఎంఎస్ఎంఈ ఇండస్ట్రియల్ పార్క్గా ఆవిర్భవించబోతుంది ఇంకొక 2 సంవత్సరాల లోపల. ఇదే కాకుండా టిఎస్ఐ పాలసీలో ప్రతి పారిశ్రామిక వాడ ఏర్పాటు చేసినప్పుడు గతంలో లాగా కాకుండా పారిశ్రామిక వాడకు పక్కనే వారు ఉండటానికి ఒక ఇండస్ట్రియల్ టౌన్షిప్, ఇంటిగ్రేటెడ్ ఇండస్ట్రియల్ టౌన్షిప్ వాక్ టు వర్క్ కాన్సెప్ట్ను రూపొందించడంలో మన జయేష్ రంజన్ గారు దాని మీద వర్క్ చేశారు. ప్రతి ఇండస్ట్రియల్ పార్కులో కూడా వాక్ టు వర్క్ కాన్సెప్ట్ తీసుకురావాలి. అక్కడ ఉన్నటువంటి కార్మికులు అక్కడే పనిచేయాలి. సిటీలో ఉండి కంజెషన్ పెంచకుండా ఉండటానికి, పొల్యూషన్ తగ్గించడానికి, అట్లనే పారిశ్రామిక వాడలో కూడా పొల్యూషన్ అరికట్టడానికి ఈ వాక్ టు వర్క్ కాన్సెప్ట్ ద్వారా ప్రప్రథమంగా టీఎస్ఐ పాలసీలో ఇది పొందుపరచడం జరిగింది. ఇంటిగ్రేటెడ్ ఇండస్ట్రియల్ టౌన్షిప్ అనే కాన్సెప్ట్. ఈరోజు తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్రం ఏర్పాటు చేస్తున్న ప్రతి పారిశ్రామిక వాడలో కూడా, కొత్తగా ఏర్పాటు చేసే ప్రతి పారిశ్రామిక వాడలో కూడా ఇండస్ట్రియల్ టౌన్షిప్స్ ఏర్పాటు చేయడానికి పాలసీ రూపొందించడం జరిగింది. దానికి అనుగుణంగానే ఈరోజు ఈ కొత్తగా ఏర్పాటు చేసిన ఎంఎస్ఎంఈ పార్కులో 200 ఎకరాలు ఆల్రెడీ ఇండస్ట్రియల్ టౌన్షిప్ కోసం ల్యాండ్ సేకరించడం జరిగింది. అది వచ్చినట్టయితే తప్పకుండా ఇదే మోడల్లో ప్రతి పారిశ్రామిక వాడలో కూడా ఏర్పాటు చేసినట్టయితే తప్పకుండా అది మనందరికీ ఉపయోగపడుతుంది. సో ఇది కాకుండా ఈరోజు మనం చూసినట్టయితే పెద్ద పరిశ్రమలతో పాటు చిన్న పరిశ్రమలను వారితో పాటు తీసుకెళ్లడానికి, వారిని కూడా అభివృద్ధి చెందడానికి, వారి ద్వారా ప్రభుత్వం యొక్క బాధ్యత ఏదైతుందో ఎంఎస్ఎంఈ ద్వారా ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ ఆపర్చునిటీస్ క్రియేట్ చేయడానికి ఈరోజు ప్రభుత్వం మీద ఉన్నటువంటి బాధ్యత ఏదైతుందో దాన్ని ఈ ఎంఎస్ఎంఈ రంగం భుజాన వేసుకుంటేందుకోసం మేము తోడ్పడుతున్నాం. దానికి అనుగుణంగా ప్రభుత్వం కూడా మా అందరికీ సహాయ సహకారాలు అందజేస్తుంది. ముఖ్యంగా ఈ వేదిక ద్వారా తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్ర ప్రభుత్వం అనేక విషయాల గురించి అందరూ మాట్లాడాను. నేను చివరగా ఉన్నటువంటి స్పీకర్ను, నేను ఓన్లీ ఎంఎస్ఎంఈ సెక్టర్ గురించే మాట్లాడటానికి ప్రయత్నం చేశాను. ఇదే కాకుండా ఇప్పటికే అన్ని రంగాల్లో కూడా, ప్రతి రంగంలో కూడా తెలంగాణ అభివృద్ధి సూచీలు మనందరికీ కళ్ళ ముందలా ఇప్పటికే మాట్లాడినటువంటి వక్తలందరూ కూడా మన ముందు పెట్టడం జరిగింది. సో ఈ సందర్భంగా మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి కేటీఆర్ గారిని, ఇండస్ట్రీస్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ యొక్క ముఖ్య అఫీషియల్స్ అందరికీ, అందులో ఈ తెలంగాణ పారిశ్రామిక ప్రగతిలో ఎవరైతే భాగస్వాములు అయినారో జీఎంస్, ఇండస్ట్రీస్ సెక్రటరీ గారు, టీఎస్ఐసి అఫీషియల్స్ మరియు ఇండస్ట్రీకి సంబంధించిన చైర్మన్, ఇండస్ట్రీస్ ఐడిసి చైర్మన్, వీళ్ళందరికీ కూడా తెలంగాణ పారిశ్రామికవేత్తల ద్వారా అభినందనలు తెలియజేసుకుంటూ మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి ఇది ఇలాగే కంటిన్యూ చేయాలని ఎంఎస్ఎంఈ పరిశ్రమలకు ఉన్నటువంటి ఇంతకుముందే చెప్పిండ్రు. ఎంఎస్ఎంఈ పరిశ్రమల యొక్క కానీ ఇది ప్రగతి నివేదిక సభ కాబట్టి మనం వేరే విషయాలు తర్వాత మాట్లాడుకుందామని, తప్పకుండా తర్వాత మాట్లాడతాం. కాకపోతే కేటీఆర్ గారికి, మా మంత్రి గారికి, తెలంగాణలో ఉన్నటువంటి ఎంఎస్ఎంఈ యొక్క ప్రతినిధులందరూ కూడా మిమ్మల్ని అనేక సార్లు కలవాలనే ప్రయత్నం చేస్తున్నారు. వారు అనేక చిన్న చిన్న సమస్యలు, ఎందుకంటే మనకు ఆనవాయితీగా సాంప్రదాయంగా మనకు వచ్చినటువంటి సమస్యలు అనేకం ఇంకా మిగిలిపోయి ఉన్నాయి. వాటిని తెలంగాణ ప్రభుత్వం మాత్రమే సాల్వ్ చేయగలిగే సత్తా ఉంది. అనేక సంవత్సరాల నుంచి పెండింగ్ ఉన్నటువంటి సమస్యలు ఉన్నాయి. వాటిని దృష్టి పెట్టి సాల్వ్ చేసినట్టయితే అనేక మంది పారిశ్రామికవేత్తలకు అది ఉపయోగకరంగా ఉంటుంది. ఇంకా అనేక మందికి ఉపాధి కల్పించే అవకాశం ఉంటుంది. కాబట్టి ఈ అవకాశం ఇచ్చినటువంటి డిపార్ట్మెంట్కు మరి ఒకసారి ధన్యవాదాలు తెలుపుకుంటూ జై తెలంగాణ.
Jai Telangana, and thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful presentation and the insights that you've just shared with us here. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at the pinnacle of the ceremony. The moment has finally arrived. Yes, we shall now witness the official launch of the annual report 2021-2022. So, yes, our Honorable Minister is here, Jayesh Ranjan ji is here. We have all our other dignitaries. So, I would request our dignitaries to please step forward to do the honors. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the official launch of the annual report 2021-22. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, once again the moment has arrived where our Honorable Minister will be talking to all of us. So please put your hands together in welcoming Honorable Minister for Municipal Administration and Urban Development and IT and Commerce, Government of Telangana, Shri KTR Garu.
Thank you. I know it's been late, so I won't try and take up too much of your time. I know I'm also standing between you and your lunch, so. అందరికీ నమస్కారం. వేదిక పైన ఉన్న గౌరవనీయులు పరిశ్రమల శాఖ ముఖ్య కార్యదర్శి జయేష్ రంజన్ గారు, గౌరవనీయులు టీఎస్ఐఏసి చైర్మన్ బాలమల్లు గారు, గౌరవనీయులు టీఎస్ఐడిసి చైర్మన్ లక్ష్మీనారాయణ గారు, కమిషనర్ ఆఫ్ ఇండస్ట్రీస్ కృష్ణభాస్కర్ గారు, గౌరవనీయులు టీఎస్ఐఏసి ఎండి గారు నరసింహారెడ్డి గారు, గౌరవనీయులు ఫికీ అధ్యక్షులు మురళీకృష్ణారెడ్డి గారు, గౌరవనీయులు ఫిటాప్సీ అధ్యక్షులు అనిల్ అగర్వాల్ గారు, గౌరవనీయులు డిక్కీ జాతీయ అధ్యక్షులు నర్రా రవికుమార్ గారు, గౌరవనీయులు తెలంగాణ ఇండస్ట్రియలిస్ట్ ఫెడరేషన్ అధ్యక్షులు సుధీర్ రెడ్డి గారు, గౌరవనీయులు పెద్దలు శేఖర్ రెడ్డి గారు, వేదిక ముందుండి ఈరోజు ఈ కార్యక్రమంలో పాల్పంచుకుంటున్న చాలామంది పెద్దలందరికీ పేరు పేరున I think many of you have spoken, so I'll not go into the names, but to all the representatives, to all my officers, and to all the representatives of various industry bodies, I firstly thank you for joining us today, and I thank the friends from media as well for being patient and for bearing with us. Firstly, I should tell you one thing. Nobody's really asked us to come out with an annual performance report. It is a metric that we have kept for ourselves. We said, we have to measure ourselves every year in terms of performance, in terms of how we have accomplished what we have set out to accomplish. So therefore, I would like to compliment, whatever kind words have been said. Many, many kind words have been said, attributing a great deal of, success to me and Jayesh. But I think, as a matter of fact, one individual or two individuals cannot bring about this sort of an effect. I think it is my entire team, Industry and Commerce Department's team, who really deserve a big round of applause. Starting with Principal Secretary all the way down to every single individual who is part of my Industry and Commerce Department. Firstly, I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude to them because I think no individual is a repository of wisdom. No institution is a repository of wisdom. Every day is a constant learning for all of us. So whatever we have been able to accomplish in the last 8 years is thanks largely to the multi-stakeholder approach that we have taken. All the industry bodies have cooperated with us. We have been given many, many kind opportunities to represent ourselves on various world forums, which again we are thankful to those industry bodies as well. And of course, without the support of the small, the micro, the medium, and the mega investors, no state will continue to progress. So I thank the entire industry community, the stakeholders who are the most important stakeholders. Now, I also felt at one point when everybody was praising, I was a bit worried as well. Typically, they do that only when you're retiring. So I was a bit worried. कि क्या ये लोग मुझे भेज रहे हैं क्या कहीं कि why am I getting so much? So thank you Shekhar Anna for that. Thank you Shekhar Reddy Garu for that nice speech you gave. But I am very confident that good work will be rewarded, good work will be recognized. So I'm a very confident, person in public life that people will recognize good work. So I am not going to retire anytime soon. You can be rest assured. I'm going to be around for a while. Now, just a quick thing. No matter what I say in terms of numbers, I think the fact is there was a time in 2014 when the state was newly formed. There were lots of doubts. Like Mr. Murali Krishna Reddy said, a lot of people were worried as to what would happen to the industrial IT ecosystem in the state of Telangana. I think after 8 years, we can successfully and very proudly and happily say one thing. There was a time when we had to make a lot of effort to introduce the new state of Telangana to the world. But now, 8 years later, wherever I go, wherever my team goes, wherever my directors from the industries department go, wherever my officers go, we are always, without even us having to be there to remind anybody, We are now mentioned in the same breath as some of the most progressive, some of the most well-settled, industrialized states which have been there for a very, very long time. Typically in India, wherever you go, people talk about Tamil Nadu, people talk about Karnataka, Maharashtra, Gujarat. Now, not a day goes by, not a meeting goes by without the mention of Telangana in the same breath. Now, that is a testament. That is a telling comment and a testament to the kind of presence we've been able to create, to the kind of visibility we've been able to bring to Telangana. Now, this, of course, did not happen in a single day or in a single month or even a single year. Led by our Honorable Chief Minister, Shri KTR Garu, right from the top. I think that will has percolated all the way down to various departments, down to various officers, and the entire administrative machinery. And that's why you are seeing results today. So it's not one individual or a few ministers or a few bureaucrats. I think the 3.5+ lakh government employees that work in the government of Telangana, all of them are definitely deserving of due credit for the number of stellar achievements that Telangana has had in the last 8 years. Now, one thing I will tell you, which I believe, is the real mantra of Telangana. What happened and how things have, evolved in Telangana is because of the 3I mantra. The first I is innovation. The second I is infrastructure. The third I is inclusive growth. On innovation piece, a lot of people assume, a lot of people suppose that innovation is only confined to some aspects of business or some aspects of, technology, to be more precise. A lot of people think innovation is all about technology innovation. No. Innovation is actually about disrupting the way you think, disrupting the way you work, disrupting the way you process your thoughts. What do I mean? Innovation can be practiced by anybody. Innovation can be practiced by government. Innovation can be practiced by institutions. Innovation can, of course, be practiced by individuals as well. That is exactly what Telangana has done. We have disrupted our policy. When this government came in 2014, our Honorable Chief Minister, in a similar room like this, held a marathon 7-hour session with various industry bodies. The CII, the FICCI, the FITAPSI, the DICCI, and many others, HICIA, NASSCOM, many others. He sat with them for over 7 hours. He discussed threadbare with his entire team of officers. I think this was in 2014, June or July, right after the state was formed. He sat for 7 hours. He sat and he didn't speak much. He actually heard more. He actually was getting the feedback from the industry. He kept asking them, probing them, what is it that you need? What is it that you need to make it work, to make Telangana a safe haven, an investment magnet, etc., etc. And whatever you have said that day, he has taken it in letter and spirit, imbibed it, and has come out with one of the best policies, best innovations that he could have in the form of TSI Pass. Now, when I go out to any country, to any state, to any city, and when I speak about TSI Pass, not only does my heart swell with pride, but the other party who's actually on the other side of the table, typically their eyes pop open when I tell them that in Telangana, we have conferred upon the investor a right to self-certification. No state in India has done that in 75 years of independence. In Telangana, we have brought about a system of deemed approvals. If your permission is not given in 15 days, on the 16th day it's a deemed approval. No state in India will tell you that. In Telangana, we've had the guts, the gumption, the audacity to take the bureaucracy and red tape head on. We said, if any bureaucrat is found responsible for a delay beyond the 15-day stipulated window as per statute, we will actually fine you. We'll actually levy a penalty of rupees 1,000 per day. I don't think any Prime Minister or any Chief Minister in independent India has had the gumption to say that. Not just say that, but also incorporate that in a piece of legislation which makes it binding as per law. That is Telangana for you. That is innovation. That is disruption for you. Not only have we innovated on the industrial policy, you look at our municipal policy, you look at our irrigation policy, you look at our rural development policy, You look at our textile policy, you look at our mining policy, every sphere of life which is relevant and pertinent to a common man. We've actually innovated, we've come out with some truly pioneering work. Talking about TS IPAS, which is, of course, off context here. When I met with KPMG chairman back in 2016-17, I think it was, in New York, and when I was telling him the salient features of TS IPAS, and when I said, no state in India will offer you this, deemed approval, self-certification, penalties, etc., etc. He smiled and he said, no state in the United States also will offer you this. You might want to say that very loud and very clearly. But that is Telangana for you. We have set new benchmarks. We have raised the bar high in policy making, not only for the rest of the country, but for many other countries across the world as well. And I always say this. A lot of people think when we come out with a new policy in itself is not enough. Because people can come out with nice slogans. It's easy. You know, slogans are easy to come out with. I mean, they roll off a tongue very easy. But you have to back them up with good policies. And you have to, more importantly, back them up with good enforcement. As a result of TS IPAS today, because a lot of people think when it comes to investing in India, people always, every government, every chief minister, every prime minister promises a single window. But joke ये है कि वो single window के पीछे हमेशा multiple window छुपे रहते हैं. That is a joke. कहीं भी जाओ लोग बोलेंगे हाँ भाई ठीक है आप single window बोलते हो, but पीछे बहुत सारे और लोग छुपे रहते हैं और वो लोग आपको काम नहीं करने देते हैं. But तेलंगाना में जब हमने ये TS IPAS लागू किया, we have trained our people all the way from top to bottom. Today the reason why I'm thanking my department and my employees is because they've truly accepted the change. Human beings typically are resistant to change. We don't change. We don't handle transition very easy. But my department and also 32 other departments and government officials who are used to doing business in a certain way have understood the intent of the Honorable Chief Minister and have actually worked with us over the last 7.5, 8 years, which I think has really brought in a lot of results. So TS IPAS, today I'm happy to share with you all, of course, give you the exact numbers. More than 2.32 lakh crores of investment through TS IPAS in the last 7.5 years. More than 19,000 clearances been given. More than 1.6 million direct jobs that have been created. This is truly a testament to a government that works. In fact, Mr. Murali Krishna Reddy was saying, the acronym or the coinage, startup state. Sir, startup state is not only because we are open to change, we are willing to experiment, we are willing to innovate and disrupt. It's also because we are very agile. You've given us a suggestion today on streetpreneurs. I mean, you said street entrepreneurs. I love the word streetpreneurs because, ecopreneurs, streetpreneurs, agripreneurs. I think we'll take it up in the right earnest. We'll certainly, nanopreneurs. No, we certainly will take it in the right spirit. And I assure you, myself and Jayesh Ranjan, we will form a body of, industry representatives, and we will ensure that the man on the street, the women on the street, like you put it, the micro, the smallest of the entrepreneurs, we will work with you in ensuring that their lives are made better. I think there's no bigger satisfaction to any government than this. So Jayesh, I request you to form that industry body, get a little bit more from Mr. Reddy on what he had in mind, and we'll certainly do it, sir. I think that's the collaborative approach that we've taken. Now, on innovation, like I said, it's been one of our fundamental things. We've innovated and we've done our best we have put our best foot forward in terms of ensuring that policy innovation happens continuously, and we continue to learn. Recently, I was with Mr. Ravi Kumar Narra on 14th of April, and he had proposed something. He's the president of the Dalit Industrial Chamber of Commerce, so he had proposed something. He said to encourage more entrepreneurs from Dalit community and tribal community, we have to make a few more changes to T-Pride. We have not only readily accepted, we have also issued the relevant government orders immediately. That's how government of Telangana works. That's how we actually learn. We believe learning is continuous. We know that our shelf life is limited. Therefore, learnings are continuous. We learn from you. We understand from you. And especially, with COVID and everything else that has happened, we understand the travails and the problems that industry is also going through. So we will continue to work with you. Now, the second piece of the III mantra is infrastructure. Now, infrastructure is extremely important if we really have to make India, get into that first world orbit. I've said this in the past. For those of you who've heard me, forgive me, but I'll say it again. I think India, if it really has to achieve the greatness that it always believed it deserves, I think we have to step up. We really have to compete on a world scale. If we really want to be in the first world of nations, we're still a third world country. Our per capita income is only $1,800. We're still a third world country. Now, if India really wants to step up and dream big and achieve big, more importantly, I think fundamental changes in infrastructure are important. If a Telangana, which is the youngest state in India in 75 years after 75 years of independence, can achieve or can create the world's largest pharma cluster, Hyderabad Pharma City. If Telangana, the youngest state of India, can conceptualize and create India's largest textile park, India's largest medical devices park, why can't other states do it? Why can't Government of India do it? Why can't Government of India think on scale? Now, why do I want Government of India to think on scale? Unless you create infrastructure on scale, you cannot achieve economies of scale. And unless you achieve economies of scale, our entrepreneurs, our industrialists cannot compete with the large manufacturing countries like United States, like China, like Indonesia, like many other countries which have done exceedingly well in manufacturing. Now, if India really wants to create a workforce in rural areas, in semi-urban areas, in suburban areas, this is the key. This has to be the key. Incentivize performing states. Please remember, stronger the states, stronger the country. In a federal republic, Prime Minister keeps talking about Team India. Prime Minister also refers to cooperative federalism. If he truly believes and if he truly means what he says, then he has to and his government has to incentivize performing states, not disincentivize us, not penalize us for performing well. My humble submission and my humble request to the Honorable Prime Minister, to Government of India, to all the powers to be in New Delhi, please remember that the stronger the states perform, the better the states perform, the better it is for the country in terms of our overall growth story. So please support and encourage states irrespective of their political affiliations. हाँ, हम लोग criticize करेंगे. डेमोक्रेसी है. भारत दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा जनतंत्र है. हाँ, जब आप अच्छे काम करेंगे तो तारीफ करेंगे, सपोर्ट करेंगे. जब आप ठीक नहीं काम करते हो तो क्रिटिसाइज करेंगे. मैंने अभी कहा इनसे, मुरली कृष्णा रेड्डी जी से, जब वो कह रहे थे यहाँ पे, I'll save criticism for another day, I said, no, please tell us what is the scope for improvement. I think that has to be the philosophy, that has to be the approach. If India really has to grow, I think Government of India has to shed its inhibitions. Economics has to take center stage, politics has to take a back seat. Economics has to take the front seat and center stage. अगर ये नहीं होता, चाहे हम लोग कितना भाषणबाजी कर लें, कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. अगर हम लोग पॉलिटिक्स को बस इलेक्शन के टाइम तक सीमित अगर नहीं रखते हैं, पॉलिटिक्स को अगर हम लोग बस इलेक्शन के टाइम जो 2, 3, 4 महीना जब भी चलेगा वो उसी हद तक अगर नहीं रखते हैं, अगर डे इन डे आउट अगर इलेक्शन मोड में ही हम रहेंगे, डे इन डे आउट 24 घंटा अगर हम पॉलिटिक्स को ही आगे रख के चलेंगे, तो भारत का जो सपना है, जो एक सपना है कि फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड कंट्री बनना है, वो मुश्किल हो जाएगा. तो इसलिए मैं कहता हूं गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया से सपोर्ट good performing progressive states irrespective of their political affiliations. Now, what do I mean infrastructure? What I mean is, when Telangana has asked for industrial corridors, I am not permanent. Nobody is permanent. None of us is permanent. When I ask for something for my state as the industry minister, or when my chief minister represents to the government or prime minister, we are asking for something in perpetuity for the well-being of my people, for the future generations of my state. We have asked for 6 industrial corridors in the state of Telangana, from Hyderabad to Bangalore, from Hyderabad to Nagpur, from Hyderabad to Warangal, from Hyderabad to Mancherial, and I think Hyderabad to Vijayawada is one, and there is one more. Now, unfortunately, we have not really received any support on that. Likewise, in the AP Reorganization Act, in 2014, when the state was bifurcated, industrial incentives, special industrial incentives were assured to not just Telangana, to my sister state Andhra Pradesh as well. 8 years, not a single incentive has been given. Now, if I ask for what is actually statutorily obligated to me, obligatory to the state, you cannot accuse me of being anti-national or, anti-union government. No, I'm asking for what is right. I'm asking for what rightfully belongs to me. So my humble request to Government of India, we may not be with you politically, but you remember, this country only has one Prime Minister. Irrespective of whether I like him or not, whether he personally likes us or not, we have to work together. There's no other choice. There is an elected Chief Minister here, there's an elected Prime Minister there. We have to work together for the benefit of the country, and then the politics can wait. My humble request to Government of India also on infrastructure. When Telangana has come out with a International Center for Arbitration and Mediation in Hyderabad, the least you could have done is encouraged us. The least you could have done is given us a pat on the back and said, अच्छा काम कर रहे हो, कुछ मदद चाहिए तो हम भी करेंगे, कुछ कंपनी आपके तरफ भी भेजेंगे ताकि वहाँ आर्बिट्रेशन आसानी से हो, क्योंकि ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस में एंट्री इनटू अ स्टेट ही नहीं, एंट्री इनटू अ कंट्री ही नहीं, एग्जिट भी उतनी आसान होना चाहिए. अगर कोई डिस्प्यूट आ जाता है, कोई डिस्प्यूट अगर आ जाती है, तो उसका रिड्रेसल भी जल्दी से होना चाहिए. That dispute redressal mechanism also has to be robust. That's why we have created Hyderabad International Center for Arbitration and Mediation. But without giving us a pat, without even giving us a pat, without even sanctioning us any budget, you go ahead and create a competing institution in Gujarat and sanction funds for it. मैं चाहता हूं कि गुजरात भी आगे बढ़े, मैं चाहता हूं कि महाराष्ट्र भी आगे बढ़े, मैं चाहता हूं कि छत्तीसगढ़ भी आगे बढ़े, पर तेलंगाना भी आगे बढ़े. क्योंकि भारत के निर्माण में, हिंदुस्तान के निर्माण में, आई थिंक इट्स इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर अस टू रियलाइज दैट ऑल स्टेट्स हैव टू डू वेल, नॉट सिलेक्ट फ्यू. सो माय हम्बल रिक्वेस्ट टू गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, आप गिफ्ट सिटी अगर गुजरात में खड़ा करना चाहे तो खड़ा कीजिए, बट बाकी जो गिफ्ट हैं हिंदुस्तान में, अच्छे अच्छे शहर है, हैदराबाद है, बेंगलोर है, चेन्नई है, कहीं और भी है, इनको भी आप बढ़ावा दें, इनको भी आप मदद दें. आप हमें भी प्रोग्रेस के, विकास के रास्ते में साथ ले चले. सबका साथ, सबका विश्वास जो आप कहते हो, उसको बस लिप सिंपैथी पे ही, लिप सर्विस पे ही ना रखो, उसको ट्रांसलेट करो रियलिटी में, उसको एक्चुअली आगे ले जाने में भी आप मदद हमारी दे, बढ़ावा हमारी दे. और आखिरी में मैं इतना ही कहूंगा ऑन द इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ पीस. व्हेन आई से इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग पॉलिटिक्स. इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ इज अबाउट व्हाट मिस्टर रेड्डी वाज मेंशनिंग. Inclusive growth is about ensuring that your street entrepreneurs are also taken care of, and at the same time, inclusive growth is about taking care of the mega investors who have come into our country. Now, that is inclusive growth. Unless we do both and do a fine balance, inclusive growth is about ensuring industry also prospers, our environment also grows. You were talking about Haritaharam. I was delighted to hear industry representatives talk about Haritaharam. Fantastic. Because Masood was mentioning Haritaharam and he said we don't talk about it often. ज़्यादा ग्लैमरस नहीं है, क्या करें, इसलिए ज़्यादा बात नहीं करते हैं. तो अगर ये दोनों साथ साथ नहीं चलते, इंडस्ट्री को बढ़ावा मिलना चाहिए. పరిశ్రమ పెరగాలి, కానీ పర్యావరణ హితంగా పెరగాలి. పరిశ్రమ పర్యావరణాన్ని ధ్వంసం చేసే విధంగా పెరిగితే it's not acceptable. That is what our Honorable Chief Minister has said. So when I say inclusive growth, Telangana is that unique state, is that one very, very interesting, shining example, and that's the reason why I call it the most successful startup of independent India. You see a very balanced development model here. You see IT exports growing by 26%. You see agriculture output also growing by, increasing by 119% over the last 8 years. You see industry growing, you see environment also growing. You see welfare happening, you see development also happening. You see rural development happening, you see urban development also happening. This is a very unique model. This government is not lopsided in its priorities. That's what I meant when I said inclusive growth. You have to have the streetpreneurs, you have to have the megapreneurs, you have to have the ecopreneurs, agripreneurs, nanopreneurs, and other emerging technologies also going hand in hand. We can't just take pride that Tata यहाँ पे जहाँ भी एक जहाज उड़ रहा है, हवाई जहाज, मसूद ने कहा कि हर जहाज में हैदराबाद का एक पार्ट होगा, हैदराबाद में बनाया होगा एक पार्ट होगा. बहुत खुशी की बात है, बहुत फख्र की बात है. But we also have to take care of the street, the man on the street. That's inclusive growth. So my humble request to Government of India, politics can wait. Economics has to take center stage. Economics has to take a front seat. Because मैं शायद इससे पहले भी कह चुका हूं, फिर से कहूंगा, we are completing 75 years of independence. And I say this with a bit of a pain as an Indian. August 15th this year, we'll be completing 75 years of independence. I'm an Indian first, Telanganite second, Telugu, etc. later. As an Indian, it pains me to see that our priorities are a bit misplaced. 1987 में शायद कुछ लोग यहाँ पे शायद बॉर्न भी नहीं होंगे, पैदा भी नहीं होंगे तब, but 1987 में हिंदुस्तान और चीन, India and China, we were of a very similar size economically. We were both $470 billion in 1987. But today, 35 years later, China, their economy size is $16 trillion. They're second only to the United States. India is at $3 trillion. They've surpassed our growth. They set their targets on Europe and US. They said we have to beat them. हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? 87 में सिमिलर साइज थे. हम लोग यहाँ पे बहुत खुश हैं. हर दिन कंपैरिजन हमारी होती है चाइना के साथ नहीं. कंपैरिजन हमारी होती है, मुकाबला हमारी होती है यूएस के साथ या सिंगापुर के साथ, यूरोप के साथ नहीं. हम लोग हर दिन इस बात से खुश हैं कि हमारी हालत जो है पाकिस्तान से बेहतर है, बांग्लादेश से बेहतर है, अफगानिस्तान से हम लोग बेहतर है. इस बात को लेकर हम लोग बहुत खुश हैं. This is where I think India has lost its opportunity, and India still, of course, is still playing catch up. You know, we are still told about this 5 trillion dream. अच्छी बात है, ख्वाब देखना अच्छी बात है, बट कैसे होगा अगर आप कंपटीशन में भी कुछ हिस्सों में, कुछ सेक्टर्स में आप अगर बांग्लादेश से भी पीछे चले जाते हो, so how will you be able to achieve that dream? When I said $470 billion is the size of China and India in 1987, let me also tell you one thing. Today, China's per capita income is $9,000. India's per capita income is only $1,800. It's not about the overall size of the economy. It's also about per capita, which unfortunately we are still languishing in. And United States is around $60,000, by the way, just so that you know. So my humble request again to all of us is, I think we have to work together. I'm not wanting to bore you with an academic discourse, but I think we all have to work together. If a state like Telangana can do a few things get its priorities right and focus on few important sectors. What is in the offing today in Telangana, just so that you know, and what China has done since 87, is it has focused on manufacturing and agriculture and food processing and value addition. And in Telangana, I can assure you of one thing. Under the leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister, since we have gotten our priorities right, you will see 5 different kinds of revolutions happening in agri and food processing sectors over the next 1 decade. You will see, you are already witnessing a green revolution, which is in the offing and which is shaping up really well. You will also see, we are number 1 now in inland fisheries in terms of fish production, which is called a blue revolution, which is again in the offing. And we are setting up a large aqua hub in one of our reservoirs. It is going to be India's largest aqua hub, which will give a further fillip to more production of fish. And as was being mentioned by Ravi Kumar Garu, even trout is being produced from Telangana today, which is a matter of great pride for us. Because we were not a state traditionally that was known for inland fisheries. So a blue revolution is in the offing. The third thing I'll tell you, which is white revolution, dairy industry, you know, shaping up rather well with government's encouragement and mini dairies and a lot of other activities coming in. White revolution is also in the offing. The fourth thing that is likely to happen with sheep rearing and animal husbandry is pink revolution, meat processing. And the fifth revolution that is likely to come up with government's focus on edible oil is yellow revolution. Oil palm is the yellow revolution. So these 5 revolutions, yellow, pink, blue, green and white, is what will propel Telangana into the next phase of growth. It is not just life sciences, it is not just IT, it is not just aerospace or textiles. These are the sectors that are going to give a huge shot in the arm for the rural sectors, rural areas. And I am a very firm believer that next phase of growth, next spurt of growth will also come from these areas. Now just quickly telling you some of the summaries, some of the points that I wanted to mention with respect to numbers. I have lots of them right in front of me. Our per capita back in 2014, when the state was formed, was 1.24 1,24,000 rupees. Today, Telangana's per capita has risen by 128% to 2,78,000 rupees in a space of about 8 years. Our gross state domestic product, GSDP, was 5 lakh crores, 5 lakh 6,000 crores back in 2014. Today, it is 11.55 lakh crores. Again, 130% increase. No state in India has been able to see this kind of growth rate. And let me remind you, all of this despite three important impediments. One, demonetization, I think, which has hurt the economy badly, and we are seeing still some fallout of it. Two, COVID, which lasted for 2 years and which is still lasting. And three, very little or zero support from Government of India. In spite of these three impediments, in spite of these three challenges, we have not lost hope, we have not lost heart, and we continue to toil hard, and that's why 128% increase in our per capita, 130% increase in our GSDP, and significant portion of that, of course, comes from agriculture and allied sector, contributes to about 16.3%. Again, that has increased to almost 18.3%. Now, industrial sector, our contribution to the state's GSVA is about 20.4%. And again, thanks largely to TIDR, TSI Pass, T-Pride, etc., etc. The services sector has also been growing at 18.3%. Now, most important and impressive, figure for me from a personal perspective is Telangana is the 11th largest state geographically in India among all the 28 states. We are the 12th largest state in India in terms of our population, but we are the 4th largest contributor to India's economy among all the 28 states. Now that is the power of Telangana. We are only 2.5% in terms of our population in the country, but our contribution to the GDP of the nation is 5%. Just to put things in perspective, हमारी जो population है 4 करोड़ है, contribution 5% है. उत्तर प्रदेश की population है 24 करोड़, उनकी contribution 15% है. Just to put things in perspective, just to let you know how well Telangana has done over the last years. Now, like I mentioned, we've been able to attract large investors, but what's even more impressive is we've been able to continuously create infrastructure. The TSIIC has been consistently involved in creation of new industrial infrastructure parks. Of course, the report will tell you more about how many parks have been created last year, in the last 7 years, etc., etc. I'll not go into the numbers because they're boring. So therefore, I'll not go too much into the numbers. Number of new companies have come in: Gokuldas, Malabar Gold, Pokarna. I'm only talking about last year, last 1 year's report, since this is Denmark's Integrated Gas Technologies, Plug and Play Tech Center, Bosch, a German company, Drillmec, again an Italian company, Grimner. All of these, have come in the last year. And let me give you a sector-by-sector kind of a breakup. In pharma sector, which is again one of our strong areas, life sciences. For those of you who do not know, we are the vaccine capital of the world. 1/3 of human vaccines are actually produced from Hyderabad, 9 billion doses. We also have the largest number of US FDA-approved manufacturing facilities for any province in the world. The second largest number is actually in New Jersey, United States. So we are a vaccine capital, we are a life sciences capital, we are also the bulk drugs, pharmaceutical capital of India. So with all these, strengths, we try to further consolidate. Ivanhoe Cambridge, a Canadian company, has announced $100 million in investment. Syngene is expanding operations. Japan Bio is also expanding. Companies like Porus Life Sciences, CVR Life Sciences, Dandu Biosciences, Laurus Synthesis are investing around 500 crores. JAMP Pharmaceuticals, a Canadian company, has expanded. S3V Vascular Technologies has announced a new investment of 250 crores in medical devices park. In food processing, you just saw some very important announcements being made. Amul is setting up a state-of-the-art plant, which also will be the largest in South India. Mars Pet Care is investing 500 crores, again in expansion. They manufacture largely, the pet care, pedigree and other stuff. Fission, a large American company, an aquaculture major. They export a lot of tilapia, and they also export a lot of frozen foods to the United States. Is investing about 1,000 crores. And they are going to be an anchor client of the Aqua Hub that we are proposing at Mid-Maner, the Rajarajeshwara Sagara Reservoir in Rajana Sirsila. Hindustan Coca-Cola Beverages is setting up a state-of-the-art new 1,000 crore bottling plant in Telangana. In aerospace and defense, VEM Technologies has announced a mega project with an investment of 1,000 crores at Zahirabad. We also have had the Rolls-Royce Group's Spanish aerospace subsidiary, ITP Aero, expand or inaugurate their new facility last year. In EVs and automotive investments, Triton, the US-based electric vehicle company, which is investing about 2,100 crores in setting up a new factory in NIMS Zahirabad. Life Auto, which is a German company, is going to invest about 1,500 crores. One Moto has earmarked about 250 crores to set up its first production plant. Grafton Motors, a Hyderabad-based plant, will also invest about 150 crores. The Madras Rubber Factory, MRF Tires, will invest another 1,000 crores in expansion of their existing facility, also create a new specialty assembly line at Sangareddy. Bility Electric, a US company, will set up world's largest three-wheeler factory in Telangana. I can go on, there's plenty of others. And textiles, Wellspun, Mukesh was speaking, thank you. They're expanding, and their new plant with advanced materials is also ready for the inauguration. They've already invested more than 1,100 crores in Telangana since 2019. Thank you very much. Kundana Techno Techs, another part of the Pashupati Group, has commissioned its PET recycling unit in Chandanvelli in Shabad. They're also growing. Kitex Garments, initially they planned about 2,400 crores of investment. Looks like it's going to grow up. In Warangal, in Chandanvelli, and looks like they're also exploring a third location. Again, I can go on, there's plenty of others. In jute mills are also coming up in Telangana. In pharma and life sciences, more than 215 investment proposals in 2021-22, worth more than 6,400 crores. And it keeps growing because of our strengths, because of our team's tenacious efforts. I thank Shakti and the entire team, Akhil, Shakti, Mihir, and the entire team, for their Gopal, Sujay, and the entire team, all the directors who've been doing extremely well. Genome Valley will be expanded. We have already announced it. Covaxin and Corbevax, both are being produced from Hyderabad. We've also had a first round of discussions with Serum Institute recently. Hopefully something will come off with them as well. Medical Devices Park, over 50 companies in Sultanpur are setting up their manufacturing plant. We recently inaugurated Asia's largest stent manufacturing facility in Medical Devices Park, run by SMT, a Gujarat-based Indian company, Indian MNC. We're also establishing a biopharma hub, a B hub in Genome Valley. The work is under progress, and hopefully it will be complete in the next 12 months. In food processing, like I said, special food processing zones are in the offing, with each of them a minimum size of 500 acres. Micro food processing enterprises are also being promoted. More than 6,311 SHG members have received rupees 40,000 as seed capital to establish micro enterprises. More than 4,575 existing enterprises have also been shortlisted for upgradation. In automotive and EV, a lot of investments coming in electric vehicles, more than 5,000 crores, generating about 8,000 employment. Aerospace and defense, thank you, Masood, to Tata's, and the entire aerospace ecosystem. It continues to, shape up really well. Delivery of the 100th Apache fuselage by Tata Boeing was a matter of great pride for us. Delivery of the 150th empennage of C-130, the Super Hercules helicopter by Tata Lockheed Martin, was also a great matter of pride. Delivery of the first F-16 fighter jet wings from Tata Lockheed Martin was also very, very momentous. And delivery of the first mid-section fuselage of LCA Tejas aircraft by WEM Technologies was also very important milestone which was achieved last year. In handlooms and textiles, the Netannaku Cheyuta program, which benefits the weavers in terms of a thrift scheme. So far, 96.43 crores have been distributed to more than 20,000 plus weavers. Cheneta Mitra, a subsidy program which gives basically subsidy on yarn and chemicals. We have released more than 21.67 crores directly into the bank accounts of 20,000 weavers. Department of Handlooms and Textiles, of course, has launched a new policy, and incentives worth 167.9 crores have already been dispersed. Logistics, again, is a very important sector. Toys is a very important sector. I can go on. But Rich, headed by Ajit Rangnekar and his team, has also been doing extremely well. And another very important initiative that I'm proud of, because Mr. Reddy mentioned the small entrepreneurs. No state in the country has a program called the Telangana Industrial Health Clinic. What we do here, sir, is we work with the small and micro enterprises who are in incipient sixth stage, and without financial intervention, we've been able to negotiate with banks, get them funded, and so far the value of funding, so that they actually don't end up as sick industries. But I request both FICCI, CII, FITAPSI, all of you to work with us, because I think it's important, like you said, the big boys might not need our help, but I think the smaller, the medium, the micro entrepreneurs, of course, need all the help from various industry bodies, from various government agencies and banks. So I request your unstinted cooperation there as well. Mr. Ranjit, was very complimentary, and he said, India's largest chili extraction plant is in Telangana. Delighted that, you are expanding. Food processing continues to remain a very, very important sector. Mahesh ji of DP, thank you very much, sir, for pointing out that industrial production is ramping up in the erstwhile Mahbub Nagar and new Rangareddy districts. Logistics, again, by virtue of our geographical centricity in India, Telangana has a lot more potential in terms of logistics. As we continue to expand our manufacturing presence, as we continue to attract more and more manufacturing companies to Telangana, I think logistics sector will also blossom simultaneously. I wanted to thank Masood and of course Mukesh, who also spoke, and all the other dignitaries, Mr. Agarwal, Mr. Reddy, Mr. Shekhar Reddy again, and to both of my chairmen, Mr. Lakshmi Narayan and also Balamalu Garu, for their unstinted support. But most of all, Jayesh Ranjan, E.V. Narsimha Reddy, Krishna Bhaskar, and the entire team of Industries Department. Thank you for all the hard work, for the brilliant work that you guys have put in. I think you guys deserve all the credit. Thank you very much. Jai Telangana.
Jai Telangana, and thank you so much, our Honorable Minister, for always motivating and inspiring all of us here to excel in our respective areas of work. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, like I had mentioned, yes, it's a matter of great pride that the MSEFCs, they have, for Rangareddy and Mechal districts, they were awarded, they ranked #1 out of 126 similar MSEFCs. So I request the GMDICs from Rangareddy district to please step forward first. Our Honorable Minister will be felicitating you. Rangareddy district and team, the GMDICs from Rangareddy district. Yes, our Honorable Minister, and I also request Jayesh Ranjan ji to please do the honors. I request Mechal district and team to please step forward. Yes, all the GMDICs from Mechal district. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, so you have heard it, Telangana has arrived. And it is setting the benchmark in infrastructure, innovation, inclusive growth, and then again, Telangana has always been taking economics as the front seat. Like our Honorable Minister has just mentioned, it is indeed a global destination for investments. With that, my dear friends, yes, please step forward. We have felicitation to our Honorable Minister.
Yeah. Alip Ramadevi.
Alip Ramadevi.
Kovi Jyotsna.
Kovi Jyotsna. Yes, we have Mr. Devraj Dasari, Chairman. MSME from Delhi. Yes, I would now first give it away to Mr. D. Krishna Bhaskar, IAS, Director of Industries, to propose the vote of thanks.
To the respected Honorable Minister, the respected Principal Secretary, the respected Chairmen of TSIC IDC, Sri Narra Ravi Garu, the MD TSIC, Sri Sudhir Reddy Garu, Sri Anil Agarwal Garu, Sri Murli Krishna Reddy Garu, Sri Shekhar Reddy Garu, and all the dignitaries assembled on the dais. It is now a nationally and internationally recognized fact that the industrial ecosystem in Telangana, under the guidance of the Honorable Chief Minister and the Honorable Minister, is a model for emulation throughout the world. The architecture of our industrial outfit, consisting of the Commissionerate of Industries, the textiles, TSIC, the cane and sugar, all the GMDICs, TSIDC, TS Lipco, RICH, TIHCL, and our very dynamic team of directors from Invest Telangana, has facilitated an extremely strong ecology of growth. I'd like to thank all the industrial associations today: CII, FICCI, DICCI, ALEEP, COWE, TIF, FTCCI, FTCCI, FLO, ISOCAM, and everybody else who's come today and make this event a complete and grand success. We are your cheerleaders as much as you are ours, and we look forward to a deeper partnership in the future. Thank you very much.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen who are standing here, you may please proceed for lunch. We have few dignitaries who would like to meet our Honorable Minister. Well, you can go ahead and proceed for lunch, my dear friends. Yes, we have with us Chairman MSME from Delhi,